one spot. There is the debt payoff planner. That helps you create a free paydown plan and then stick to it. And then there are still some no-interest credit cards. If your credit is decent, you can buy yourself some time with a transfer. You just want to really be clear about the fees that are associated, and you want to make sure that this card is not a temptation to spend more.
Car maker Stellantis is telling the owners of the more than 200,000 Jeep Cherokees to park them outside. There are fears that the power liftgates on some Cherokees made between 2014 and 2016 could catch fire. The problem traced back to water making its way into the car's electrical system. Morgan Norwood, ABC News.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
When he's not talking about it, he's tweeting about it.
Do you Twitter?
Follow the Troubleshooter at RealTomMartino. And stay connected with all of Denver's talk station on Twitter.
Just give me your Twitter and I'll follow you.
Find us right now at 630 KHOW. KHOW News Time, 10:03.
Ballots are in the mail for Denver's municipal runoff election. Clerk and recorder Paul Lopez says it's easy to vote.
We mail you the ballot, so all you got to do is return it in the mail, and it's 63 cents, and it's easy to be able to do. Fill it out and put it back in the mail, or you can take it to one of our 43 drop boxes around the city.
Ballots must be returned by 7 p.m. on Election Day, June 6th. The ballot includes the runoff between mayoral candidates Kelly Brough and Mike Johnston, along with several city council races. Today is Election Day in Colorado Springs to determine the city's next mayor. The runoff is between Wayne Williams and Yemi Mobolade. Space Command could be staying in the Springs. The White House reportedly looking into halting plans to move Space Command from Colorado Springs to Alabama. The decision to move the command was the Trump administration's and is not supported by the Biden White House. Local political leaders say Trump was upset with Colorado because it supported Biden in the last presidential election. That's the latest. I'm Chad Bauer.
Now, Impact Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Our American Stories.
Some major drama spots over on the west end of town through Jeffco. I-70 westbound near 44th Avenue and Ward Road. We've got a multi-vehicle accident with 2 left lanes blocked. Stop and go back from Wadsworth, about 40 minutes of delayed driving through the scene. On the other end of the road, I-70 eastbound before 32nd and Youngfield, we've got a semi-crash blocking 2 right lanes, and the off-ramp to 32nd with stopped-up traffic back from Colfax. Heading out to Parker Road, Lincoln Avenue eastbound between Urbana Boulevard and Chambers is closed due to a jackknife semi. Fox 31 pinpoint weather, chance of scattered thunderstorms today, sunny at the moment with high of 76. The current temperature is 65 degrees with your Impact Traffic and weather. Mark Swan, 630 KHOW.
We'll have the story of the time the Man in Steel, Superman, battled the Ku Klux Klan. Be sure to listen to this week's edition of Our American Stories on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Watch Harris Family Law's informative and complimentary webinars, live and recorded, concerning all family law issues. It's Harris's Wiser Together series, helping you make wise decisions. HarrisFamilyLaw.com/webinars for free access. HarrisFamilyLaw.com/webinars. The Harris Law Firm. Stability, knowledge, guidance, and strong representation. HarrisFamilyLaw.com.
Need new windows or doors for your home? Then call Bluebird Windows. With an average 4.8 on Google reviews, customers attest to the quality, installation, and craftsmanship that Bluebird Windows offer. They're manufactured specifically for both Colorado's weather and our altitude. Call for a free quote, mention me, Michael Brown, for a full 25% off your entire order. Call Bluebird Windows, 303-810-2888, 303-810-2888, or go online, gobluebirdco.com.
It's the Dan Kapla Show. Afternoons 4 to 6.
The Durham report drops, revealing politically motivated abuses of power and helping advance the Russian collusion narrative as Dan returns, and he'll have thoughts right here on 630 KHOW.
Ripped off, bad news. You need advice so you don't have to lose. We'll come running just as fast as we can. Troubleshooter's gonna help the common man.
This is the Troubleshooter Show. Now, Tom Martino.
Welcome to the show. I'm Tom Martino, here to help you solve problems, answer questions, take complaints, make your life a little easier, as I've been doing for 43 years. And actually in Denver, longer if you count elsewhere. Yeah, that makes me more than middle-aged, of course. And this hour brought to you by waterpros.net. Triple filter reverse osmosis every morning. I just thank God for this water system, under $1,000 fully installed. No one can do it better or for cheaper. You just can't. PaulTheWaterman.com. PaulTheWaterman.com. Best prices now and best quality. So John Fuller's in the studio. We'll talk about personal injury or anything else like that. John is our legal expert with auto accidents, but we talk to him about other things because he has a legal mind, as we put it. Callers always take priority at 303-713-TALK. Mark's on the phone. He wants to talk about a speeding ticket. So let's weigh in on that. And then I have some other interesting things to talk about, as always. You know, we talked yesterday about the dating apps and the #1 deal killers. There's romance scams going on, and the states have lined up as the most vulnerable states for romance scams and the number of victims. And where do you think Colorado ranks? Well, we'll talk about that. A lot of scams here, do you think? 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. All right, so let's talk about this speeding ticket. Mark, what's going on, man? What's going on?
Hey, Tom. How are you?
Good. What's happening?
So, got a speeding ticket in Douglas County back on December 28th, and it was over off I-25 and Hess Road, and the sheriff was facing the same direction that I was traveling, and I passed him, and then drove approximately 2 miles. And I flashed somebody coming to just warn him that there was,
I understand, yeah.
Yep, and so after I did that, the sheriff rode me pretty hard. I finally pulled over. He asked me if I knew how fast I was going. I told him no. He basically said, you're going 57. And where he supposedly caught me speeding was in a 40-mile-an-hour zone, but where he pulled me over was 50 miles an hour. And so I asked him if I could see the radar, and he said no.
Hey, did you know, by the way, just so you know, maybe you don't know, a federal court has ruled that it is within your prerogative and it falls under freedom of speech to let people know there's a speed trap. Did you know that?
That was a while back,
No,
but yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it didn't happen today, but I mean, what I'm saying is, actually, the federal ruling was not that. It was, I think, 2014 maybe. I mean, yeah. Okay. So anyway, what's the bottom line? Do you think he didn't cite you for that? He just was pissed off you did it. But where do we go? Where do we go with this? A speeding ticket is still valid. I went
to court. And sat in front of a judge and the sheriff. The sheriff tried to negotiate with me to, lower it by a point or whatever. But I asked him to prove to me that he caught me speeding, where he said he caught me speeding. And
I don't know what the proof is on that, actually, on a speeding ticket when people go to court. John Fuller, do you know what the level of proof is on that? I mean, is it just like any other crime or what?
Well, it's going to come down to the testimony of the officer, and if the officer lays a foundation for the admissibility of the radar or LiDAR or whatever they call it that they used, then it'll come in. I mean, but there is a foundational requirement, and I mean, it sounds like what he got was an infraction because he showed up and the cop was playing DA as well as cop, and that happens in a lot of jurisdictions, and I can tell you that though there's a foundational requirement, it's not a very big foundation. They generally are allowed to testify pretty unfettered, and then the judges give them all the credibility that they need.
So what happened in court?
So in court, basically, I saw the video and stuff, and I still basically was going to fight the ticket. So the judge, I asked him if I could have a copy of the video from the body cam and from the sheriff.
Can I ask you something, Mark? Bottom line, were you speeding or not? You don't have to tell me. I mean, but
I probably was.
And what's the big deal? Tell me why you are fighting this or fought it or whatever. Why? What was the big deal? Did it just get just a bug or what? Tell me.
No, where he's saying that he caught me speeding, basically is like 2/10 of a mile from 40 to 50, and so I don't know.
Okay. So you were starting to speed up for the next zone, and he said he caught you in the 40.
Right.
And how fast did he say you were going?
He said I was going 57.
Okay. And had you gotten into the 50-mile-an-hour zone, it wouldn't have been a big deal.
Yeah. Then I don't know. If he would have given me a ticket.
He could have. But anyway, how did this end up, sir? How did this end up?
So the judge basically asked the sheriff if I could have a copy of the body cam and the recording in the car, and the sheriff said yes. So then I go there to get a copy of it, and then Douglas County comes back and says that they wouldn't release the videos because of Rule 8 discovery.
I don't know what that is, but anyway. So when was this first court date?
It was March 30th.
First court date, okay. And you continued it, right? And then you were going to fight it.
Yes.
And when did you go? Okay, so they said you can't get discovery on that because of Rule 8. John, do you know what they're talking about?
They're just saying in infractions you aren't allowed discovery.
Oh,
it's a
really?
local rule. Yeah.
Why is that, John?
They don't want you to put up too good of a fight. I don't know. It's a rule of expediency. They don't want you or people like me from clogging up these poor little troopers that are putting on these trials and
Rule 8 says, but I looked it up, and of course I Googleize everything, and Rule 8 says that discovery is not available prior to certain offenses. At the time of the final hearing, you are entitled to inspect, but not prior.
It sounds almost like you can't have a jury for a speeding ticket as well.
You don't. You generally don't.
So,
if you have the right to a jury, then they'll transfer it up to a county court jurisdiction.
Can I ask you something?
Magistrate.
I'm serious about this, and I'm not trying to be a smartass, but Mark, do you have a life? Like why are you going through all this? I'm curious, really. What's really going on?
Well, I'm at the point where it's not worth it, right? I mean,
well, I don't know. I mean, only you can answer that, Mark. I'm just curious. I'm really curious more than anything. I mean, I've gotten pissed off about things from time to time, but then I look at the overall impact on my life, and I think, come on, man. I mean, am I really going to take all this energy? So that's where I'm coming from. What's your motivation here?
My motivation was just to have him prove to me that I was actually speeding.
I don't know what proof there would be, actually. So would there be video accompanying?
A dash cam.
Okay, and what does the dash cam show that would prove he was in that zone? I mean, I don't know what he's getting at, but in any case, you can still go to court and examine the video at court. You know that, right? And if they don't have it, there's a good chance, if they don't have evidence at the time of the hearing, there's a good chance it's going to be thrown out. So they're most likely going to take it with them. They know you want to see it.
They put a lot of credence into those officers' testimony.
Of course they do.
Yeah, they do. But
I don't know if you actually need a video.
You don't need a video. You just need the testimony of the cop to get over that threshold. I've beat them down before. I mean, you can win those hearings if you have the goods, but just going in and saying, I don't think I was speeding is not a very healthy defense. And generally the cop saying, I've got this skill training and expertise,
So,
and I've
yeah.
calibrated it, and on and on.
So what was the purpose of your call, Mark? What, if you have a question or complaint, what is it, if we sum it up right now?
Basically, it was focused around the Rule 8 discovery, and if I'm not able to get access to the video to view it, then
right, you're not.
I feel like I'm...
Now, if it was a serious crime, you could. With a traffic infraction, they want to cut down the red tape. You're not entitled to it. It's that simple.
Right.
Traffic is not considered a serious crime, so certain rights afforded other criminals are not afforded to traffic infractions. But you do get to see it at the time of the hearing. 303.
That kind of does suck. It makes it very one-sided.
Well, it does, but the whole thing is one-sided anyway because you don't have a DA that should be kind of a neutral, in the middle, kind of evaluating things. You've got the cop. So if you've got a cop that's a little loose around the edges with the truth and stuff, then that cop's going to come right into trial and be just exactly that in front of the judge. So, you have to, you have to catch them in an outright lie to convince the judge, but they lose all the time. The judges will rule against them if they feel like the evidence is not sufficient.
Right.
So give it a shot.
If you do take your chance, let us know, Mark. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Augustino has a plumbing issue. Lisa has an issue with a DUI. Sherry has an issue with Freedom Solar. By the way, a name not unfamiliar to us. If you all hang on, we'll come right to you. I'm Tom Martino, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255, 888heating.com. Now's the time to start thinking about AC, and they have the major brands. They say they'll beat anyone for the same system. Beat their price. That's 888heating.com. They invite you to call 303-770-2776.
Music is a bridge between the material and the spiritual. My name is Harvey Lauer, and I'm 82. As a blind person, you have to be aware that nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. You really have to try things. My folks got me a little radio in 1940, and that...
All right, you ready? Let's do it. This is a bad spot. Here you go.
All right, so I want to talk to Joe Chiano. He's a certified financial advisor. I've been working with him for many, many years on overfunding life insurance, annuities, and other financial tools. And he thought, let's get together on the 25th. And Tom, I'd like you to be there. I'd like Mark to be there so we can talk to people about not just income for life, but other things important to us as we grow older. So he invited some other experts along. Joe, what are we going to learn on the 25th? No obligation. All they have to do is call and register. What are we going to learn?
Well, Tom, people are going to learn what they should have been taught in schools many years ago. People are looking for answers. And this event, we're going to provide people with the answers, not only on how to protect our money from this economy, which, by the way, people are very, very, very scared of.
Yeah, no fooling.
Left and right.
No fooling. They're even afraid of banks right now, man. They're even afraid of banks.
Oh, absolutely. Banks are going belly up all the time. Now, they're also going to be learning something that is really important to baby boomers today, and that is long-term care. That is the biggest risk facing people over the age of 65. And people don't know the slightest thing about how to protect themselves against long-term care. And they're going to be learning how to navigate, Tom, how to navigate through the Medicare and Social Security programs that we have.
Right. When to get it, when not to get it, what to do with their mortgages. Is a reverse loan right? Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. What about disability insurance? Everything's on the table. People can ask their questions. And I just want to tell them how to register here, Joe. 303 800-2919. Joe, I want to ask you something. Would you prefer they call or go to the website?
They should call right now.
All right.
They should call that number that you gave them.
303-800-2919. Listen, if you just even want to say hi, ask questions. Seriously, everything will be open and transparent for you to ask questions and learn. 303-800-2919. Hey, one of the things on the table we talk about are reverse loans. Now listen, I'm definitely telling you reverse loans are not for everyone. But, you know, when I say that, what I mean is people just don't need money. But if you want an emergency line of credit, if you want some security from the equity in your home or just to pay off your loan and not have a payment, you still can get a reverse loan. They're still in play right now. And Approval Reverse Mortgage is one of the companies I've known and trusted for years. Joan Sullivan and her team, ApprovalReverse.com, 303-771-3528, 771-3528.
Thank you.
She wouldn't drive the
You'd
old.
be lucky to get me to drive like an F-350. That would be out of my comfort zone.
With the lawnmower trailer behind
Station
it.
wagon.
That's it. See, because we had the fifth wheel, I was able to say, honey, the 34-foot fifth wheel
plus
was
your
probably
truck.
25 feet south of the Kingpin. You know,
But you got that brake.
Then you have the big 1-ton diesel truck, and so we were every bit of 55 feet going down the road.
You're forgetting the brake.
I'm not forgetting anything. This is my logic to my wife.
Yeah, it's no good.
We have been
so
in
different.
55-foot vehicles plenty, you know.
So ours, it's 45, but it's got a tandem, or not tandem, what's it called? Damn it, I can't think of what it's called. But we got two tires in the back that drop down and turn with the front tires.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like...
So it tightens up your arc then.
It turns way better than our 37-foot one
Right.
that did not have that technology.
Gotcha.
Totally different deal.
Interesting. I've driven a lot of crap over the years, and a lot of trailers, and a lot of long vehicles. We even drug the boat behind the fifth wheel behind the truck.
Oh, that
before.
sounds like a fucking... I've seen people like that.
It's not something you want to do. It's
If you
bad.
ever go in one way, you're probably dropping the boat to get out.
Yeah, you definitely got to plan out your fuel stops. I mean, like, plan them.
Yeah.
There's no second chance when you go into a place and you get crossways up in there. But we actually, and the what's on the back is really accentuated with bouncing and stuff. So you go over a bump with the truck, the fifth wheel is a bigger bump.
Yep.
And then the boat behind it's like.
So wait a minute, you have a truck and then a fifth wheel and then behind that a trailer?
Tommy's asking you about
Holy
your
shoot,
Get
that's
offline.
You're a choo-choo train. You have the truck, the fifth wheel, and the
It's
trailer.
insane.
Wow.
Sorry?
I'm sorry, because I
It's
knew
all right.
that you were texting me, but I was like on the phone and it gets a little crazy.
No worries.
before the show. Did you want anything other than water?
No, I'm good.
I have liquid death.
I want
Sorry?
some lox and bagels.
No, I brought my coffee. I'm all good. It's all good. I'm easy.
Yeah, I saw a guy coming out of Tiger Run like John's talking about. Big ol' F-350 pulling a fucking 40-foot fifth wheel, pulling a boat. And he went down this little road, and I just sat there and went, there's no way he can back that up. I have no idea why he went down that road, unless we thought he'd turn around, but we were just pushing down the road. I wasn't going to stop and ask, but I think he was stuck, man.
You can back those, but it's
630 KHOW.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. All right, and by the way, Denver Regenerative Medicine is doing hair transplants as well as stem cell therapy for the scalp. They do a combination when you need it or just stem cells. You can talk to a stem cell doc to find out more about it. 833-STEM-GEN. They're local. They'll talk to you on the phone. Set up an appointment. 833-STEM-GEN.
You know, on a side note to that real quick.
Yeah.
I've always kind of thought stem cells were a little kind of, I don't know, not kind of fake. Let's
like
put it that
you
way.
mean hocus pocus?
Hocus pocus,
Yeah.
here's 10 grand. But I'll tell you who changed my mind on that. Well, you eventually after you had it done, but way prior to you, the man sitting next to me here, Fuller, that's all he taught. What was it, your shoulder?
Yep.
Yeah.
Full range now.
75% torn.
No, and here's the thing.
That's
it's a real
incredible.
deal. Now, Mark, I know why you thought they were hocus pocus, because everybody and their mother in the beginning started...
Oh, my God, you could walk into Walgreens and some guy was selling them out back.
Well, it was all the amniotic fluid and all that crap. I mean, this is a really different procedure that I had and that
Right.
Tom had.
Right.
You know?
You
Very
have
different.
the actual stem cells extracted from you.
Right.
And it's the real deal.
Isn't it sad that our healthcare industry doesn't start paying for this?
Boy, I
No,
wish
you
it
know,
would.
I can't
It's
stand when they
amazing.
call things experimental, Mark. Do you know how many
So,
years?
Let's say stem cells are $5 to $10 grand. How much is a full-blown knee or shoulder surgery? It's got to be way the hell more.
I'd go
way
in for
more.
the other 5 major parts, both hips, both knees, and the other shoulder. Just give me an all-around tune-up, you know?
God.
No, I'll tell you, man, it's crazy. And then, you know, for years and years and years, people, insurance wouldn't pay for chiropractic care. They
Right.
wouldn't pay for mental health care. I mean, there were so many things. Do you know they wouldn't pay for reconstruction surgery for women who've had breasts taken off because of cancer? They
And
called
that
it.
wasn't that long ago.
They called it cosmetic. Now, then, when they started, it just gets ridiculous. Anyway, let's go back to the phones, and Mark's got a question for John Fuller. Go ahead, Mark.
Hello, my question is about commercial vehicles. I don't know if you can answer it or not, but a long time ago, and this is really kind of stuck in my craw. I was in Colorado Springs. I've been an owner-operator for 100 years. They were sending motorcycle cops out and gathering us up throughout the city and bringing us back to a central location where they would give us a safety inspection. And they gave me a ticket for not having a light over my license plate, and I had to pay the fine right there. I was always thinking, you know, don't you get a day in court?
Now,
Does
was
it
this a
not
big?
apply to
Is this a
commercial
big rig,
drivers?
Mark? Is this a big rig?
I was driving a dump truck at the time, so yeah, it's 26,000, over 26,000 pounds.
Here's the deal, bro.
With air
Here's the deal. Seriously, our rights with traffic are nothing, and safety and vehicles, because it's a privilege and not a right. They're way different than things that involve rights. John, can you weigh in on that?
Well, yeah, I agree with you. They are different. You still have some fundamental rights, but you know, those fines and stuff that you're talking about, most of those commercial deals are set by statute. They're not even just, you know, something that's arbitrary for the judge to decide. And so you can have some pretty minor tickets that end up with huge fines for these commercial drivers.
Yeah, it was just always stuck in my craw that I had to pay the fine right on the spot. I didn't even get a chance to, you know, contest it.
Did you make it
I've
out?
never heard
did
of
you
that. I've
yeah,
never
he had to
heard
make
of
the check out to Vito, I think, right? Officer Vito. Anyway,
Vito.
yeah. So listen, man, I never heard of that. You were not given a ticket. You had to pay on the spot. Now, if you didn't have it, what would have happened? What would have happened if you didn't have it?
I argued with him and said, I get to go to court over this. And he says, if you don't pay it, we're towing you.
And you know, that's the bottom line, is sometimes they have the ability to take, quote, unsafe vehicles off the road, and that's probably what was going on there.
Yeah, but he paid the fine. All of a sudden, it's safe enough to drive?
Well, yeah, exactly.
What, did the money patch the problem? I don't get that part of it. If it's
Exactly.
dangerous, it's dangerous, man. But here's the good news, Mark. Here's the good news. If you had on a south of the border license plate, you would have gotten free passage. So you got to remember that.
Hey, whoa.
Come on,
Oh,
man.
You know what? They don't even. All those guys have to do, if they get a ticket that would shut them down, they call back home, which is in Mexico, because we have Mexican truck drivers.
I know.
over here. And they'll switch and all they'll do is switch the name on the door, and they'll keep right on running.
Mark, I wasn't kidding when I told you that. If you came from south of the border in a truck, you can do anything you want, and possibly from north of the border
right.
too.
You're exactly right.
I mean,
know
and
that.
then guys like Mark trying to make a living, he has to pay on the spot. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. You know what? Our country's upside down. I don't give a damn what anyone says. It's upside down. I don't want to get into it because I don't want to sound like, my wife sometimes tells me I sound like an old curmudgeon, and I don't even know what a curmudgeon is, but maybe I am sometimes. But thanks for bringing that up. And John Fuller, Tony's got a question for you too. Tony, go ahead.
Yeah, I just got a quick question. The guy that had the speeding ticket, the first thing he started off with stating was that he was flashing his lights. And I'm just kind of curious how, if that was provable, that would be a retaliatory act. You know.
And by the way, and this is very interesting. You bring up something very interesting I'd like John to weigh in on. See, people always look for a reason for something, thinking that if it wasn't a good reason, then the crime should go unpunished. And I'm not saying, by the way, it was a serious crime. It was speeding. So here's what I'm getting at, though. I think that I've read where it's not the same as what they call fruit from the poisonous tree or poison fruit, whatever. What I mean is, if you do something illegal and discover something, a crime, you probably can't prosecute, like an illegal search or seizure. However, if you get pissed off at someone and they're breaking the law, it doesn't matter that you're pissed off at them before they break the law. John, you know what I'm saying, right? It's not the same. A lot of people try to find motivation, and motivation is not always a deciding factor.
I agree. I totally agree. I mean, I think, you're right. There is a Supreme Court case that says blinking your lights is free speech and all that kind of stuff, but blinking your lights while speeding is still speeding.
Exactly.
And
that's
it's going to irritate the hell out of the officer.
That's the point I'm trying to make. And what he just said, too, and I don't mean this to make fun of you, Tony, but it's like a Perry Mason thing we heard. Wait a minute, that's retaliatory action, right? Or here's another famous one. People call and say, the guy fired me and hired his brother. That's nepotism. To which I say, yes, it is. But, why people think that these words constitute something illegal. You can retaliate if you have a reason, and it stands up. You can. And here's another one. This one I hear all the time. But wait a minute. He picked me out. There were 4 or 5 of us speeding. He picked me out. John, what about that one?
Yeah, well, not your day. I mean,
exactly.
Your defense can't be someone else's crime.
I was not the worst speeder out there. It's
exactly.
Your defense is kind of an admission of guilt. I wasn't speeding quite as bad as the other guy, but I don't know. Listen, man, I don't do traffic tickets. I haven't been in a traffic court in years, but this stuff just doesn't really fly.
And there was a guy in a bar fight. I've actually heard of talking to cops. I don't know if they're making it up or just want to joke, but one guy said he had it coming. I mean, that's not a defense. Another guy said he wouldn't listen to me. The cop said, well, why does he have 2 black eyes? He said, I told him twice.
Exactly.
Anyway, Lisa. What is this? Oh, no, let me take a break. I'll come right back to this DUI. Plus, this trucker has a $15,000 fine. Plus, Sherry, we have not forgotten about you. Let's get our solar people up, our experts for Sherry. More coming right up.
This hour from the Trajan Wealth K-House Studios. Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors. TrajanWealth.com. Now, Impact Traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Tudor Dixon Podcast.
Despite the fact that we're looking at drier roads than we're used to for the past
drive
throughout the Denver Metro into downtown.
In fact, they don't listen even.
We've got a new crash.
When you're talking,
Stopped up traffic back from Lincoln and Broadway. Heading out west to the Golden and Jeffco area, a semi-crash on I-70 eastbound, blocking 2 right lanes and the off-ramp to 32nd and Youngfield. Stop-and-go traffic back from Colfax. About 15 minutes of delayed driving for folks heading towards the center of the Denver Metro. Fox 31 pinpoint weather. It's a warm one today. Sunny for the most part, though we are expecting some scattered thunderstorms out there. High of 76 degrees. The current temperature in Denver is 68 degrees, nice and warm. With your Impact Traffic and weather, Mark Swan, 630 K-How.
Coming up on the next episode of the Tudor Dixon Podcast, the latest on the Biden family's shady dealings with investigative journalist John Solomon. Listen and subscribe to the Tudor Dixon Podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
There's a joke out there about electrical repairs on cars. It cost me $6,000. It was hunting for the problem and then $3 for the bulb. But you know what? Here's the deal. Electrical problems can be frustrating. I talk about Sheridan Auto Tech all the time, doing pre-purchase exams for used cars, repairs and maintenance of all kinds. But I really want to emphasize they have a complete electrical department, and these guys will find the problem quickly and fix it for you. They're great people, no matter what you have done on your car. 303-455-7242, worth the drive on Colfax, west of Wadsworth, SheridanAutotech.com. All right, before I talked about reverse loans, right? Well, we have another lender I love, EmpowerReverse.com. Now, Empower Reverse Mortgage has a helpline set up because they know before someone considers a reverse loan, they have all kinds of questions, you know, to allay their fears. Here is where you can call Empower Reverse, talk to Mark, and ask any question you want. Mark Massey and his team, 720-500-7719, 720-500-7719. How much time do I have?
The best.
How much time?
4.
Oh, I'm generous, but I ain't that generous. And he said, once it's in the box,
Yes, you are.
it stays in the box. And
Pretty generous.
it escalated from there, let's just say that. Yeah, I always thought Lazarus, like, he represented one guy that shot a cop. I was like, man, that's got to be a tough
Right.
one.
Joe's good. What Joe mostly has, he's just a likable damn guy.
Yeah.
You know? And all the DAs know him and stuff. I mean, he's in court all the freaking time, and that's half the battle of doing criminal defense is that they know who you are.
They know
and,
you.
You know.
And they respect you.
Yeah, and he's a straight shooting guy. I mean, he's a good guy. But
It would be so, I always thought it would be so hard to, maybe, I'm not talking like a huge case like an OJ or some crazy shit, but just your typical whatever. And there's footage. And it's evident you did whatever the hell it was. It just would be,
well, it's never that easy.
it's
you
never
know?
that clean cut.
No. We were watching we both woke up at some stupid hour of the morning, and we were watching this 2020 this morning about this dude named Kimball that killed like 4 or 5 people.
Where?
Here. A bunch of, like back in 2003 or something, he killed a stripper from
Jesus.
shotguns and another gal, and he tried to kill his own son and an uncle and some other shit, and Boulder ended up prosecuting him, and they cut a deal with the guy to basically take the death penalty off the case for him to go help him find the bodies and stuff. And it was crazy, but I mean, the dude in exchange for his life was willing to cop to like 48 years, and then when they couldn't find the bodies, they're like, well, you reneged on the deal, and they backed out of it. And I think he ended up getting like 70 years or something. So
It wouldn't have mattered if you got it here anyhow.
No, it's not. But they won't be, I mean,
Yeah, I got
even
you.
if he was sentenced to death in Colorado, he wouldn't be
Yeah.
on death row
Just look
anymore.
at the Chuck E. Cheese guy, Nathan W.
Exactly. Yeah, he's having Taco Tuesday today or something, you know.
How about
it was
that
an
one
interesting
up,
show, though, you know.
The one up in, it was up north, and he dumped his kid and his wife into that oil.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What a moron.
And
That
she
was
was
an interesting-
pregnant. She was like 7 months pregnant or something.
That whole
It
documentary
was
was
2
just
little girls, Mark. It just
fascinating.
wasn't
It was
one
fascinating.
kid.
It was crazy.
And then there's some chick that's like, I mean, and there's all these women that stalk that guy in prison, you
I
know?
that's weird. That's like that Charles
That's,
Manson.
but women, they've always been like that. Like,
But like his
Huh.
girlfriend, when that went down, the chick he was seeing on the side.
oh,
like,
she was mortified.
She finally came forward.
She was like, I'm out of here. But can you imagine? You know?
No, not in a million fucking years.
You did what?
I know. It's like, what? It would be so weird finding out someone you spent time with
Right.
was out murdering people.
I know. Some dude
I'd wake up every day going, I'm one lucky son of a bitch.
Some neighbor of mine, when I was like a little baby in Texas, that used to babysit us, was on death row in Texas and was executed for like murdering somebody.
They will kill people in Texas.
Like what's his name says, they have a drive-through.
Old George Bush put that guy in like a 70 IQ or some shit years ago. The guy couldn't say his ABCs. He's like, fuck him, we're frying them.
Too late to learn now, you know.
We had a nursery school teacher.
You did, yeah.
I did. Her husband came in right after class. I don't remember.
There you go. KHOW, an iHeartRadio station.
Hi, Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Welcome. Let's talk about this now. We want to talk about this DUI. Lisa, what's happening?
Hello.
Hi, Lisa. What's going on with you?
First of all, I love your show. I love you guys, and thank you so much for being there for Denver.
What's happening to you? What's happening to you? Did you get a DUI?
Okay, well, 2.5 years ago.
Oh.
Jefferson County, most corrupt county in Colorado that I know of. It's been a horrible, it's been a nightmare. I'm 62, I'm going to be 63 years old. I got roughed up by
May I ask you something, Lisa? Was this your first DUI?
No, sir. I had one 30 years ago. 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Adams County.
Okay, so what happened? Were you, by the way, had you been drinking?
I had plead the fifth because my case is still ongoing.
So you don't want to talk about it? Okay, keep going.
Well,
go ahead.
But if it was 2.5 years ago, what's going on now?
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. What's going on now?
Yeah, we keep appealing it. I had a jury trial.
Okay,
and,
when you had a jury trial, when was your jury trial, Lisa?
I refused to blow, number one, so that pissed the cop off.
When did you have a jury trial?
When was it? It was last year sometime, Tom.
Were you found guilty by the jury?
Yes.
Okay, so then you appealed it?
We have, about to go to the Colorado Supreme Court.
What was the appeal based on, just out of curiosity?
That's a primary question.
Yeah, my attorney, who's a public defender, not well seasoned at all.
So was it based on incompetent counsel?
And not explaining everything in the beginning.
John, is that an appealable item if you feel your counsel was incompetent?
Well, you've got a constitutional right to the effective assistance of counsel, so yeah, it's a ground for appeal, but not one that generally is successful in a DUI.
Now, on this appeal, has it been heard already and turned down? Is that why it's going to the Supreme Court? Usually that's what happens. You're going up the ladder, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how many times has this appeal, John, how many times is it turned down before it goes to the Supreme Court of Colorado?
Well, you've got the Court of Appeals and then you have the Supreme Court. But is it the same attorney that's appealing your conviction as you're claiming was ineffective?
Yes.
Well, that's got to be awkward.
So you lost at the Court of Appeals, and now you're going to the Supreme Court.
Well, yeah, and then I was told by an attorney that chances are the Supreme Court won't listen to it because they only choose like 1 out of 100. So then it'll go back to, I guess, district court is what it's called. And then this other attorney said, call me. He said, call me when it gets to that point.
It's not. There's no reason to go back. If the Court of Appeals, if the Court of Appeals ruled against you, and then the Supreme Court doesn't hear it, the Court of Appeals ruling stands.
Yeah, but they may remand it back to the lower court for sentencing or something like that. The court may have stayed the sentence or something pending the appeal, Tom.
Okay.
Here's the problem, guys. I was sentenced. I am a 62-year-old woman. I was sentenced by Judge Burback, the worst judge in Jefferson County.
Yeah, okay. What were you sentenced to?
You let a man die in jail.
What were you sentenced to?
Google it.
What were you sentenced to?
6 frickin' months. 6 months.
This must have been pretty egregious.
And you want to know why? No, you want to know why?
Resisting arrest and other things. I'll bet you there was more to it.
You want to know why? You want to know why?
Yeah, I
he
do.
said, I didn't take responsibility in the courtroom. I was like, are you kidding me?
Well,
Lisa,
you know, why did they stop you to begin with?
he said I was speeding, and I didn't use my turn signal.
Okay, so they stopped you and found that you had been drinking. You wouldn't blow. Can they do a blood test without permission, John? Okay, what was your blood out? 2 hours later, what was your blood alcohol level?
0.11, but it's not admissible in court.
Okay. Well, so where are we going? What is your question, Lisa? What is your question?
Okay, so here's the worst. So I've been appealing the 6 months in jail. Obviously, I did spend 17 days in there. So now, and I got a UA test. Here's the issue. Number one, so I just got popped for amphetamines. So they're pulling my...
Now, hold on a second. What do you mean? What does this mean?
Let's take a break real quick.
Yeah, hold on. Just hold on, okay? Hold on, Lisa. We got more coming up. Hold on. I'm Tom Martino.
Nice.
Now, Impact Traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Tudor Dixon Podcast.
Despite the fact that we're looking at drier roads than we're used to for the past week, it's a pretty dramatic drive throughout the Denver Metro into downtown I-25 northbound. We've got a new crash approaching 6th Avenue. We stopped up traffic back from Lincoln and Broadway. Heading out west to the Golden and Jeffco area, a semi-crash on I-70 eastbound, blocking 2 right lanes and the off-ramp to 32nd and Youngfield. Stop-and-go traffic back from Colfax. About 15 minutes of delayed driving for folks heading towards the center of the Denver Metro. Fox 31 pinpoint weather. It's a warm one today. Sunny for the most part, though we are expecting some scattered thunderstorms out there. High of 76 degrees. The current temperature in Denver is 68 degrees, nice and warm. With your Impact Traffic and weather, Mark Swan, 630 KHOW.
Coming up on the next episode of the Tudor Dixon Podcast, the latest on the Biden family's shady dealings with investigative journalist John Solomon. Listen and subscribe to the Tudor Dixon Podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
You know, addiction is not just addiction, substance abuse and alcohol abuse. It's trauma, anxiety, depression, and other things. The Raleigh House can help. Mental health and substance abuse, either one or both. Personalized approach to treatment. They have the ranch with equine therapy, unparalleled clinical and medical services. A lodge-like accommodation to focus on long-term recovery. Serving Colorado since 2008. 720-891-4657. 720-891-4657. TheRaleighHouse.com. Hey, the 25th of this month, Mark and I and Joe Kianos and Jordan, and Joe is a certified financial advisor, plus some other financial professionals in insurance and mortgages and Social Security and Medicare. They'll be there to help you navigate through older age or even middle age who want to plan ahead for retirement, for income, and for getting rid of debt. You can do it by going to a website and registering for this free seminar. No obligation, nothing to buy. Okay, it's 303-800-2919. That's 303-800-2919.
Thank you.
The pictures were crazy.
Yeah.
And there was definitely people around in bathing suits and shit, but I didn't hear anything about injuries.
Yeah.
Although that's the kind of shit, you got a 5 or 6 year old there, that could fuck him up for a long time, couldn't
Sure.
it? Here we go, illuminated LED flooring.
There you go.
Get the fuck out of here. Man, think about it, you will find it.
That RV place, they're financing RVs at 9%, 9+%.
Don't buy one.
Well, I would never finance anything like that anyway.
It's crazy.
I'm like, good God.
9% is fucking crazy.
Isn't it though? I just did
and
the
that's
math.
probably normal credit, if you will.
Yeah.
I bet that's not even.
Well, I just did the math
bullshit.
on it for like a 72 month. It was like a $5,800 a month payment or something. Like, good God. I remember back when interest was 11 and 12%, where, you know, that's what you had to pay, you know,
That's
for
right.
mortgages.
And people were used to it.
And now it's like you just can't even fathom paying that much. I'd like to make 9%, 10% on my money, but
So I got a huge line of credit that's locked in at right about 5, but I mean, I have
same
nothing
here.
to do with it.
yeah, same here. But it's one of those things where you're making interest-only payments on it, and so you're just constantly reminded just how fucking much money you're pissing away on interest if you use it.
The biggest thing about starting to build any form of wealth is literally getting rid of debt. I mean, once you start
agree.
calculating that interest, just like you said,
I
it is
completely agree.
mind-blowing.
The most liberating day of your life is when you finally turn debt-free and you never accumulate debt again. And
It's crazy.
It is an amazing turning point in your life.
And we've been really think about, you know, growing up and everything. Just, you can call it lower, upper, middle class, whatever. Debt. Everybody has debt. It's normal to have a mortgage. It's normal to owe for cars. It's normal to owe for shit.
Until you don't.
Listen to this. My first fucking roommate, you know what his dad gave him for his birthday? His dad went to Rent-A-Center and rented a stereo that he paid weekly on. So he just went and signed for it. My roommate had to pay for it each week. And that was a freaking gift.
Right.
It's the gift that keeps giving.
The weekly gift.
And taken.
That's awesome.
Eric Wittenbach. Suzanne would piss him off. She moved in with me back then.
Oh.
So on that stereo, it had
There
like
was
20 presets.
20. He had them all on the same station. I changed
Oh my
one
God.
to my station. He would bitch at Mark. 20 on the same. 1035.
It would drive her
Classic
crazy.
rock. I'm like, can I have one country?
.com.
Hi, Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Welcome to the show, 303-713-TALK. So, Lisa, I just wanted to say something, and I want to take this seriously, and I'm happy you called, and I don't want you to think that I'm picking on you or anything, but, you know, you had a DUI, and now you said you were popped for methamphetamines, and I don't exactly know what that means. Was it crystal meth? What was it that you were
No.
popped?
Okay. I should have. Let me reword that. I did a UA, and they said that I was taking amphetamines. I said, I don't even know what that is. So I contacted my doctor, and she wrote me back, and she said, the prescription drugs that I take, I don't know if you want me to mention them or
Go
not.
ahead. What is it?
Wellbutrin and phetamine.
Okay.
She said those two will and can test positive for amphetamine.
Well, did your doctor write you a note?
I can get one from her, absolutely.
Well, you need
But
to.
here's the thing, Tom. I'm already on a $7,500 cash bond that a dear friend of mine has put out.
Yeah.
His money, elderly man, that's his savings. And so now the pretrial services, I'm not even on probation yet, and the pretrial services, Nicole took it upon herself because they sent a report wanting to revoke my bond.
Yeah.
So it comes back amphetamine. She had me take a picture of all my prescriptions, send them to her yesterday, again for the third time, and she was going to do some research. Well, apparently Nicole had something else in mind. So now there's a warrant out for my arrest. Now it's a $15,000 cash bond. My
Well,
poor elderly friend.
Lisa.
He's not gonna pay that.
Lisa.
I'm not going to jail. Bottom line.
Lisa, do you have? I'm just asking. Do you have? Are you taking the Wellbutrin for depression?
That and to quit smoking.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
All of them.
have you ever thought? Have you ever thought of maybe getting an attorney to just say you want to enter a program that would avoid prison? That people, they don't want to see you in jail. If you admitted to some kind of a problem, anxiety, depression, substance abuse, or whatever, and you wanted to enter a program, I'll bet you that they would prefer that over jail. John, do you think that's true, John?
Probably not.
No? Why? Why?
Well, I mean, maybe at the end of the day, she could get into some sort of a treatment program, but they're not going to let her do that as an alternative to showing up on her warrant and going to jail and dealing with the bond and the amount that's outstanding.
No,
I mean,
she will have
beyond
to.
that point
She'll
right
have
now.
to deal with that for sure. She'll have to deal with that. I think
I tried to get them to undo it because Nicole was wrong.
Well,
she wouldn't even admit in court, though, she had a problem.
You'll be afforded a hearing on the revocation matter, and you can bring up all that stuff then. But
Lisa, you need to hire an attorney that will represent you. Here's the thing, Lisa. I'm only hearing one side of the story from you. And I can hear in your voice, and you don't want to hear this, but you have a problem, and you're not admitting it, and the court's picking up on it, the judge is picking up on it, everyone else is picking up on it except you. Bigger is not all.
she sounds fun to party with.
Yeah, right.
That woman has a problem. She does.
Oh, let's fix my password. Can we do that?
Yeah, hold on here.
All right. Whenever you can do it. Howdy in there.
Okay, let me see here.
'Cause if I say forget password, it'll say contact your system administrator.
Okay, users.
And I can tell you, it popped up here. So I think I know what it is. So what do? Just try and log in now?
Do you have another email on there?
No, I've got Scott at Troubleshooter.
I mean, do you have another email account or no?
Yeah, I've got another email.
Then I'll email you the password to that account. This?
Yeah. There you go. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know what we're going to do with Lisa. I think Lisa's going to spend time in jail. Guys, Mark.
What?
If you're going to keep Deputy Dollar in the studio, at least embalm him.
Did you see those new Apple 3D glasses?
I saw the ad for them.
What about it?
I'm telling you, I am downtown with those bad boys when they come out.
What do they do, Mark?
What would you do with them?
I have no fucking clue what they do, but they look cool as shit. It said it'll do everything your phone does, so you don't need a phone anymore. Although it'd be weird walking around.
You going to drive your Tesla with those, or?
Fuck yeah, I'll drive the Tesla with those. So they see regular, but then they can augment.
Really? Are they like Google Glass or something? Didn't we try that before?
Yeah, but they weren't. The technology wasn't there yet.
Right.
Yeah, they did try it, and it didn't
The
go
thing
anywhere.
I always wonder is like you wear glasses, I wear glasses. How do you know? I can't see shit super fucking close to me clear.
I'm the opposite.
So
I think why wouldn't it fix that though?
Well, I know, but my correction is for stuff out there. Well, no, it's not really. It's for stuff right here, reading correction.
John,
you know?
why don't you get
I can see fine out at distance.
Get clear lens.
Tom's telling you to get a clear lens.
Are you on offline?
No. No, I am.
That's what he got. So they go in and they put a. They replace.
Well, he was
your
talking
lens.
about that, but I don't know. I'm just kind of scared of doing that.
I think it gets better each year, so I'm just waiting. I don't mind wearing glasses. When it gets to where I can see through walls and shit.
What I miss is having really good quality sunglasses, because I have correction sunglasses or prescription sunglasses. I've only had one pair that I really like because the curvature of the lens doesn't work as well with the progressive lens for me. And so I get glasses where you're like trying to find the freaking spot and stuff, and it's just not cool, especially when I'm on the water and stuff where you've got like infinite distance and everything. It's just not comfortable. So I end up not wearing them that much, which I shouldn't do.
I almost only wear mine driving.
Yeah.
Long ways.
Right.
Sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
These transition very well. These transition in the car. The ones I used to have wouldn't transition in the car. But these actually...
Oh, the tint? You have the...
Yeah, these will go dark just driving in the car, which generally is fine unless I'm like literally driving, 7-8 hours.
Right. Mine don't do that, but I, my eyes get tired sometimes and they are more corrected than other times, You know what I mean? Like, they don't work as perfectly sometimes as you think they should.
Imagine a pair of glasses, though, Google glasses, Apple, whatever, that literally correct your vision just constantly. It doesn't matter if your vision gets a little fucked up.
That is cool to think about.
It just, and then of course can zoom in and do other shit like that.
Got to charge my glasses.
That, you know what? That's something you wouldn't think about.
Right.
Yeah, you really wouldn't. Where do you put? God, that's crazy. Plugging a cable into them would kind of suck.
Yeah. I guess you could put a solar panel on your hat,
Yeah.
Mark, a few of these pieces of mail are from the beginning of April, and I just got them. I'm sure that's an iHeart issue, not a USPS issue.
Dude, they shut down our post office.
They did?
They shut it down. They don't know when it's going to reopen.
In the building, you mean?
The
Or?
No.
roof caved in from the hail.
In our
Or
fucking town, in Franktown.
Yeah, Franktown Post Office.
Worst post office in the world, but now they literally just shut down.
Right.
They're like, you can go either to Elizabeth or Parker to get your mail.
Right. Good luck.
Elizabeth. You can't go to Parker. Parker's if you just need other retail services.
I love all the people that always stick up for him when I go after him on the air.
Well,
they're the best people ever.
Dude, I'll have to tell you a story.
Did you wake up with a guy
I
next
went
to you?
no, in the Keys. It's
Tom, you want a piece of this? Do you want to do more of this show?
Bad news.
I'll do it.
Tom, you good?
Yes.
So you don't have to
Okay.
We'll come running just as fast as we can. Troubleshooter's gonna help the common man.
This is the Troubleshooter Show. Now, Tom Martino.
Hey, welcome to the show. I'm Tom Martino, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Here to help you solve problems, answer questions, and take complaints. This hour brought to you by RenewHomeInnovations.com. Renew Home Innovations, specifically the bathroom and the shower. They do a beautiful rectangle shower taking place of the old shub, you know, the shower tub combination. They do walls that need no maintenance, look like stone. They do beautiful grab bars and seats and no doors if you want, just the thick wall, the glass wall that turns a corner, and whatever you need. It's custom made. 303 and by the 904-2000, by the way, and it's half off labor this month. Also, 72 months to pay no interest. That's incredible. 303-904-2000. All right, so let's keep going. And I want to take this solar issue because I have our expert on. Then we'll go back to others. We have people. Stay on the line. I promise you I'm going to get through these. Lisa, I don't think there's much we can do for you. If you had a specific question, we can take it. But I need to go to Sherry about Freedom Solar. Go ahead, Sherry. Tell me what's happening with... By the way, I just want you to know something, Sherry. We've gotten a ton of complaints about Freedom Solar. A ton. So what's going on with you?
Okay, well, first of all, I want to set the record straight that it's actually the company I'm working with. It's Freedom Forever Solar.
Oh, is that different?
My husband actually called Freedom Solar and made a complaint to them. They're like, we don't even have you in our system. It's Freedom Forever Solar.
Okay, I've never heard of them. I've never heard of them. What's going on?
All right. Well, back in approximately, I don't have all my notes because I'm not at home, but around November-ish, they came to install our solar panels. And the day of install, basically the sales guy told us during the sales pitch that all of the utilities, the control box, would be installed on the north side of our home, which is where all of our utilities are. And we were like, that's fine, that's great, that's where we want them. We don't want them anywhere else. They can't go anywhere else, okay? So the day of the install comes, and it's me home alone, and the guys jump on our roof while I'm in the house, and they start going. And I'm like, okay, cool, they're here to do it. About an hour later, the installer knocks on my door and says, hey, we can't put all of these controls and utilities by the utilities boxes on the north side of the house. We have to put them on the south side. And my husband did our whole house in stucco. He's a stucco expert. And I'm like, I don't think that's going to work because the south side of our house is very visible to the road. And also, you guys didn't tell us that you were going to put them over there. And my husband's really picky about his stucco. He doesn't want a bunch of holes in it, and it's going to look like crap. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, well, this is all we can do. This is where we have to put them. So it took over an hour to get a hold of my husband at work. And the whole time I'm freaking out because they're already, like, drilling in my roof. They're going. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I get a hold of my husband finally. He's really upset. We're both really upset, and we're going, this is not okay. But the installer was like, I'll make it look pretty. I'll do my best.
Let me just ask this before we go on and on and on, Sherry. I just want to cut right to it. By contract, did it specify the north side of the house for controls?
On the drawings, they actually had it by our front door, which is like there's a north side by our front door, and then it juts out more to the north, and then has another north wall, which is where our utilities are. But kids said, we can't put them by your front door. And we're like, heck no, you're not putting anything by your front door.
Hold on. So the actual plan showed them near your front door?
Yes.
Okay. So where did they end up putting them?
On the south side.
Okay, so they ended up putting them on the south side.
Completely opposite.
Now what's the problem? And this was back in November, so what's the problem now?
So what the problem is we waited for inspection until, like, I think it was March or April. I have all my notes at home. I can't remember. The inspectors came out, and it did not pass. It failed miserably. And
what
the
inspector?
Freedom Forever
A building inspector or the power company?
Well, okay, so there was a Freedom Forever inspector, and then there was an independent inspector, and they have to come before they hook it up to get any...
Where did the independent inspector come from, Sherry?
A separate company, a company, I'm not sure.
What does that even mean? I've never heard of a private company showing up to someone's home to inspect a solar system and it failed miserably. Did they just drive down the street and knock on your door? Who is this inspector? The county has an inspector, cities have inspectors, the utility companies have inspectors. You're telling me this was some private inspector?
Well, I do have it written down at home. He was from a private company, but like I think Freedom Forever, I think they have to have an outside inspector inspect it.
Okay.
It probably was.
All right, let's talk. Hold on a
but
second.
I'm not
So
exactly sure.
let me just get to that point because I don't want to get hung up on that. Mark Kunkel over at ProBid Energy. This is a good company, ProBid Energy. Thank God we have them as consultants and we refer people to them. Mark, what is she talking about with inspections? Do you know?
Yeah, the inspector would have come from the authority having jurisdiction. So what county or city are you in, Sherry?
We are in Wellington, which is Larimer County.
It could be that Larimer County contracts that out. Could be, maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but that inspector is for the authority having jurisdiction, which is Larimer County, and you didn't pass inspection. And my guess, without knowing much more, is that the inspection didn't match the site plan drawings. So
why did it fail? Why did it fail, Sherry?
So here's I have two different statements. The Freedom Forever inspector from Freedom Forever Company was flaming mad. He was cussing. He was saying that.
Just get to the point. Get to the point. What did it fail for?
Well, he said it failed miserably, and then the other guy told me that he's never seen anything installed this way before. He said they have to be over by the utility boxes. So basically, in short, they have to have everything over by our house's utilities, and they put them completely opposite.
I don't even know. I don't know why that would have anything to do with an inspection, but maybe it does. Can you think of why they would say that, Mark?
Yeah, it should have been by the utilities. The equipment should be close.
But is that a code? Is that a code violation?
I don't know the answer to that. But I can tell you that the site plan probably had all the equipment over by the utilities, and that's what the inspector has to go by.
Okay. So now, after it failed, what happened, Sherry?
Nothing. We have called them.
So hold on. You do not have an operating system.
Correct.
Did you pay for this system?
So that's the thing. We don't know what to do because we are supposed to be paying for it. We're going to pay it, buy it. They are actually still paying our monthly bill, but they're not getting back with us with any plan.
What is the monthly bill? Are you talking about a loan?
Yes.
So you bought it. Hold on, Sherry. You bought it outright?
Yeah. We're paying on a loan.
Right.
For the next
Who got you the loan? Did you go out and get your own loan, or did Freedom get your loan?
Freedom, but it's not through Freedom. It's from.
I know, but they got you the loan, and that's why they're making the payment. The reason they're making the payment is because they usually guarantee, if they get a lending company, they're guaranteeing to that lender that you're going to make at least the first payment. And if there was a first payment default, Freedom would be on the hook. It's called recourse. I'm sure that's what's happening. So you kind of have them over a barrel. How many months have they paid your bill?
Well, it was put in, I think, in November. So November until now.
But it is not generating any power.
Correct.
And they can't afford to move it. That's what they're why they haven't. They have to move. Did the inspector actually give them directions on what needs to be done to correct the system?
I do not know because
Yes.
they will not even talk to us.
Okay, what were you saying? Mark Conkle with ProBid Energy. Mark, as I said, our consultants, the good guys, what are they? What do they usually do? Give you a list?
Yeah, they would have very specific instructions on what has to be changed. Freedom Forever is a sales organization. So who was your installation company?
I think the installer was Sunder, Sunder.
Okay. It may be worth a phone call to them. They were contracted by the Freedom to install your system.
It's called Thunder? Is it called Thunder?
Sunder, as in the sun.
Yeah, Sunder. But I kind of get them confused because we have Sunder, we have Freedom Forever, and then we have the loan company. And I keep getting confused on which one is which, but nobody from anywhere will answer any of our calls. The loan people will, but they are just like, well, we have this loan. And
okay, hey, Sherry, hold on. Mark, have you ever heard of Sunder?
No, I haven't. I just looked them up. It looks like they're a small solar company.
So they might be the solar company, and then Freedom Forever might have been the installers.
I can't believe how many bad companies are in this space.
I mean, Mark,
it's remarkable.
How do so many clowns get into the solar business?
It's crazy. I mean, it's I hate to call it a pyramid scheme, but there's these sales organizations and all they do is recruit people. They recruit realtors, they recruit mortgage lenders, all these people that just want to have ancillary income, and they don't understand the processes. Our company is everything: service, installation, financing, start to finish.
And repairs and maintenance. Okay, so hold on. Here, what do we do here for Sherry? That's what we have to figure out. Do we have one of our people call? Do you call? We need to figure out who did what first, Sherry. And if you could, I'm actually going to give Sherry some homework. Sherry, you need to help us out, okay? You need, and I'm going to mark this pending, what you need to do is get us who actually sold you the system and who installed the system. And then, I don't care about the financing. Let us know who did what, and any numbers or contacts you have there. Kachina Kalori is going to give you an email address to send us that information. Then we're going to get you back on the show with Mark, and we'll figure out a plan of action.
These guys, Tom, they have got just the most horrible reviews.
Which one, Mark?
This Sunder Energy.
Well,
I mean, it's remarkable how bad they are.
We're not sure which one did what. That's the problem. 303-713-TALK. Waterpros.net. Don't forget, drinking water, all you want, under $1,000 for a triple filter reverse osmosis. That's paulthewaterman.com. A great company with great products. 303-862-5554.
Very nice.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password.
Or you to become a victim.
LifeLock alerts you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to LifeLock.com.
Excel Roofing. I'm going to say the name again. Excel as in excellent, E-X-C-E-L. ExcelRoofing.com. Why am I emphasizing Excel? Because right about now you're getting a lot of knocks on your doors if you recently had a hailstorm, and we've had hail up north and in Colorado and in the metro area. So what you want is a company, first, that will not have any penalty clauses and trick you into signing stuff at the door. Second, they're not going to ever take a dime from you or your insurance check until the job is done and you're satisfied. That's the pledge they have made, and they've been doing it for years and years, and since '93, plus they've had more than 30,000 satisfied homeowners. Complete Repair Division as well. Give them a call, 303-761-6400. Don't accept anything less than excellent with excelroofing.com. All right, on the 25th of May, we're going to have a little get-together with a certified financial planner from becomethebanker.org. We're also going to take that meeting the opportunity to introduce you to other financial experts, not to sell you anything, but to answer all of your questions and concerns. Obviously, they're in business and they want to earn your trust, but there is nothing and no pressure. You come and get all the information you want about growing older and finances, insurance, Medicare, Social Security, reverse loans, annuities. Ask all your questions, challenge the knowledge, and learn from it. That's becomethebanker.org. The number for registering for the seminar is 303-800-2919. I will see you there, 303-800-2919.
Thank you.
How much time do I have, bro?
Should be 4. Yeah, 4.
All right.
Go up to their, go in there, and then she got married right there. Right here? That's, well, under those oaks, just down where that arch is. It's gorgeous. That looks nice. So it's absolutely gorgeous, but as it should be for $50 grand for the fucking location. That was it right there, sticking with oaks. That's what it's called. Oh, yeah.
We got so many complaints during COVID from places like this. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, this place knows how to do it up right. I mean, they require you to have a wedding planner. They only have like 2 on their approved list. And the lady that did it was, I mean, all over it.
Thought of everything
But, I
you
mean,
never would.
oh, I mean, beyond anything you've ever seen. But I mean, literally the whole thing was like $150 grand.
Oh, that's crazy.
I agree.
We went to one that was in California at a winery, and I bet it was, how much was their wedding?
Oh, is that what you're saying? Is like upwards of $500,000?
Whoa.
Oh, what is?
150,000.
Megan and Mark's was like, I think it was around
It had to be.
70, 80.
Yeah, and it was, they all stayed right there in, the big house and shit.
Well, that's not including all the, I mean, listen, if the venue's 15, the band was 14, the flowers were 12.
The band was 14,000? Was it a known band?
It was Metallica.
It was a fucking good band, but
ZZ Top, Texas.
they're very highly thought of, and they were very good.
But he said the wedding planner, though, the venue, they only had 2 approved wedding planners, so you either use their shit so they know it goes right. I kind of can understand that.
Yeah.
Because
And
we
it-
get nightmare calls in here.
and it went really just fine. But I mean, like, we went there months ago to look at the venue, and they were getting ready for another wedding the next day, and it took 5 Mercedes Sprinter vans full of flowers to decorate this place.
Oh, my
okay?
gosh. Do they
5.
live in Texas?
Yeah, they live in Austin. They
Is
live
that
in
where
Dripping
he's
Springs.
from?
Yeah, his
Tom, are you there?
live in Dallas area. They both live in Austin. And
Did they pay for it?
who?
The kids.
Like the kids? No.
No,
Hell
no. The groom's parents.
Everybody paid
Everybody chipped.
a portion of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But,
It's very nice.
yeah. Are we broadcasting right now?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So I will not say more.
We told Addie, we said, fuck it, you can elope.
Oh, yeah, right.
I'm
having my dream wedding when Addie gets married, just
First
so
of
you
all,
know.
Applebee's.
The one I did not have. Right.
Here you go.
All right, I'll look at it and see if I can make hide or hair of it. Thank you, man.
Mark it on your...
Listen on the
Here you go.
radio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
Hi, Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Don't forget AC at the guaranteed lowest price for the same equipment, 888heating.com. All you have to do is call them and say, I want a bid on this, and here's what I've been shopping for, 303-770-2776. You better get the deals now before it gets really hot. 888heating.com. Okay, so this thing with the solar system really is a pain in the ass because we got a number of solar systems, and they're all not solar systems, solar companies, and they're all knocking on your door telling you that they're selling you something, and it sucks. It sucks because they go away, and there's no, and they don't perform. So, Mark, you said they have terrible reviews. And
I'm talking just on even the Better Business Bureau. Of course, they're B+, but there's like 50 bad reviews. Only the BBB can do that.
Okay, now, Douglas, you have a question about misdemeanors. Go ahead, Douglas, and statutes of limitations. Go ahead.
Yes. Hey, how are you doing? So
Good, man. What's happening?
Basically, not too bad. Like your show. Keep up the Italianness. My mom was a Carano. Hey, so let me say this. I'm going to change gears a little bit, and the topic matter will change a little, but it still kind of has to do with statute of limitations. So I have a document showing that my child support is paid in full. I'm 56 years old. 2 of my 3 children lived with me during the last 10 years of paying child support. I just sucked it up and took it like a man. So my problem is out of nowhere, I wrote a letter to the Department of Revenue about taxes, and I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
With what? Anything to do with what, Douglas?
This is what I'm getting at. The child support. I've got a letter from the court saying, technically, while my child support has been paid in full, I technically still owe child support. Now, this is coming from the child support office because they said 32 years ago they gave my ex-wife some cash assistance.
Okay.
Well, that was never brought up. It was never brought up, and everything was signed off. I was proven to have shown to give like 26 G's out of my bank to my ex-wife to help her with medical expenses. So we both go in together for the second time to the child support office in Colorado Springs. And the reason the second time is it never stuck the first time when it was done by mail. They claimed they didn't have a clue what we were talking about. So my ex-wife flew out here from Nevada. We both went in.
So your ex-wife said she never got public assistance?
She's never saying that. She's saying she did, but she doesn't recall the amount ever. Like a one-time cash assistance for like $600 is what she's claiming. My ex-wife.
How much are they claiming?
They keep claiming it's over $2,000, and no matter what I pay, the amount always seems to stay the same. And when I require them or request them, I should say, to prove to me on data what exactly I owe for, they get really rude with me and just start threatening to take my license, which they have done on numerous occasions without notice. So they've got me on a payment plan for child support that I have a letter from the court saying, while it is paid in full, you still owe child support. And I guess it has to do with the cash assistance payment from 32 years ago. But the problem is they send out letters to everyone I'm associated with saying I'm a deadbeat dad. This isn't the first time they've had problems with me.
Gosh.
And,
maybe they have you mixed up with somebody, right?
No, they don't. No, they don't. I'm very vocal. You might have guessed that. I'm half Italian, and I don't take shit. So,
but, okay, we got to get Shannon, grab that, will you, please? Did you get it? Yep. All right. So he said a bad word. I got to put him in timeout. And what do you do in a case like that? Mark, what do you do? I mean, do you think he owes the money or he doesn't? I mean, don't they have to prove he owes the money?
I would think a family law attorney like Bonnie Shields or someone can tell him what the hell it's for and how much it is.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's secretive.
No, it's not. And I
can't imagine you pay on it all the time and it never moves as well.
So that's the bottom line.
And what does that actual mean? So way back when he was a deadbeat dad, for lack of a better words, the state or the city or someone actually gave him money, and now they want it back.
No, they gave his ex-wife money.
Yeah, assistance for either food or clothing or whatever.
So anytime,
they have a lien going forward for that amount. Forever.
That's right, and it never goes away. It never goes away. There is no statute of limitations. So, Douglas, the answer to your question on statute, there is no statute. If she received public assistance, they're going to hound you to death, and either they paid her money or they didn't. Now, I think Douglas was saying that his wife said she never got public assistance.
No,
he
she
said
didn't
she
know
got
how
it.
much.
Oh, well then, you know,
He said
Douglas,
she thought it was like 600.
let's
is
put
what
it
she
this
said.
way. They're going to
Does it
charge you
accrue interest?
interest. Yep, they're going to charge interest.
Yeah,
Douglas,
it
we
probably
can't
does.
help you on that, bro. I mean, if your wife got public assistance, you owe the money. That's
Yeah.
It's just the way it
Welcome
is.
to America. This is why I hate Biden and anybody that supports
But
him.
he has nothing to
Because,
do with
you
this.
know,
He has nothing to do with this.
Joe didn't pay your wife.
No.
He might have.
It would have happened no matter
We
who.
deal with this.
It
We
would
deal
have
with this all
happened no
the
matter
time.
who's
We have-
president. It would have happened.
Yeah.
The bottom line is social services goes after moms and dads with a vengeance when they pay out to the other spouse for anything to do with the children. And I'm telling you, it's not going to go away. I know people who 20 years later had to pay a bill. 20
Tom,
years later.
We have clients all the time that have old liens that are on file with the Secretary of State, and when we get ready to do settlements and stuff, they come knocking on the door, and they're entitled to get paid, and they generally will get paid first.
And they didn't even know they were there.
Sometimes they don't.
Now-
they really don't know for 20 years, and then it pops
All right,
up because
Jesse.
it's on a lien.
Jesse, what is this $15,000 fine, for God's sakes? What the heck is that, Jesse?
It was for overweight expired permit. I was coming through the Lamar port, and the permit that I had in the truck, it expired 2 weeks prior. The company that I work for was supposed to send me one that morning after I told them 3 days prior that I needed an overweight permit.
Okay, so let me ask you something, because I don't understand it fully. If you have an overweight permit, you're allowed to carry more weight?
Exactly.
Okay. So do they pay extra for the wear and tear on the highway or something? Is that what it's used for?
I believe so. I only
Okay.
been doing this job
So
for,
are you
10
an
months.
owner? Are you an owner operator or an employee?
I'm an employee. The company said they would pay it, but court is not till August 2nd.
So if they're going to pay it, how is this affecting you?
They said they're going to pay it. I'm not 100% sure they're going to
Still
pay
goes
it.
on his driving record.
It's to him, not the company.
Oh.
So
It's
my
points and
question
everything.
my question is, why is it written to the employee and not the company?
Because
We
you're
don't
the
even-
driver. You're ultimately in control of the vehicle.
Yes, but I don't buy the permits. The company does.
But you drove without one.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm going to liken this, Jesse, to a pilot. It doesn't matter if the company is supposed to maintain that plane. If there's something wrong with it and it doesn't pass inspection and it's dangerous or it shouldn't be flying because it's got a prohibitive missing instrument or something, a required instrument, then you take responsibility as the pilot. Now, you personally, I think, can probably go after your employer, but I don't think you can get this thing taken off your record. Do you, John?
No, it's going to follow you. Those points are going to be on you, and it is a big, ugly fine. I mean, they really lower the boom on these, but unfortunately, the company may pay it, but it's still on your record.
But wouldn't he have action against his company, do you think?
Well, yeah, for money, but the company can't undo points and stuff on his record.
He's not supposed to be driving that vehicle at that weight without the permit.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
So here's the
thing. Do you run
thing.
into that a lot in accidents where these trucks are, hauling down the road heavier than they're supposed to? I mean, is this a normal deal? You seem to know about it. It's why I bring it up.
I've just been in court when these cases have come up, and I mean, guys that really are, they're just driving the truck. They're not told what's in it, what the weight is. They're just driving the truck, and next thing you know, these tickets are stupid expensive. I mean, they really hit them hard to keep them from doing it, but it's on them. It's their ticket. It's their points, no matter who eventually pays it for them.
All right. Man. And by the way, I got a text wanting to know who they are. They're ProBid. That's their name, ProBid Energy. They were our expert, probidenergy.com, 303-623-1531. I have to tell you, this whole solar business is screwed up, man.
It's always been that way, too, man. I'm thinking way back to, what was it, Solar Mart? I mean, they're all just, I hate to say it, but they're either incompetent or they're thieves. I'm not quite sure which one.
Now, Rose has a call about hail damage. What's you know what? Hang on, I'll come right back to you. All right, 303-713-8255.
This hour from the Trajan Wealth K-House Studios. Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors. TrajanWealth.com. Now, Impact Traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Truth with Lisa Booth podcast.
Some messy spots on the Denver roads and freeways for the 11 o'clock hour. I-25 north and southbound, we are back to intended speeds into and out of downtown. Leaving downtown 6th Avenue eastbound, we are seeing some normal congestion on the off-ramp to I-25 southbound. Slow traffic back from Federal. East of downtown, I-70 westbound before Washington Street. A crash in the right lane. This one's already through road construction, so we're seeing heavy stop and go back from Monaco. About 11 minutes of delays into downtown. Fox 31, pinpoint weather nice and sunny right now. We're expecting highs in the mid-70s this afternoon. 1 or 2 scattered thunderstorms throughout the Denver metro before the day's end. The current temperature is 74 degrees with your Impact Traffic and weather. Mark Swan, 630 KHOW.
Hey guys, it's Lisa Booth. So when did America become a Marxist country? Dr. James Lindsay has studied the issue and gives us a glimpse into the future if we don't act now. Listen to The Truth with Lisa Booth every Monday and Thursday on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
You know, there's nothing cleaner than a Zero-Res clean. Man, do I love Zero-Res at my home to clean carpets. In fact, I do have to have them here. Now, they have great deals on carpet cleaning, but here's the best part. No matter what deal they're having, you won't find a better company because they use only water, but it's super soft, energized water. This water is a patented process to get your carpets clean, to get your tile and grout clean. They can do your mattresses, your upholstery, area rug cleaning. They even do duct cleaning, commercial cleaning services as well. They're the only company I'll have in my home because your carpets, they use less water, first of all, no residue, safe for pets and kids, and they dry faster and stay clean longer. 303-471-5150, 471-5150. All right, Made in the Shade is a window covering place, and I love the name Made in the Shade because they will put you in the shade with style. They come and measure and estimate free. They have a designer to help you free. When you order what you want, they have their in-house installers. They guarantee everything. It's a one-stop shop. And you have all the famous brand names, and they'll meet your budget. They even have loaner shades while you're waiting for your shades or blinds or shutters or whatever. 720-458-6566, 720-458-6566. Made in the Shade. Look for them at referralist.com.
Yep. Colorado tried to switch seats with his dog to avoid a DUI arrest.
Brilliant.
I heard about that.
Your Honor, I wasn't driving. It was Fido. I don't think you could have a worse excuse. My dog was driving. Oh man,
he did do that.
He was taken to the hospital, where he was medically cleared.
I'm going to send
booked.
this to Joe Lazera.
Tell him we got him a new client.
Right?
He pays in biscuits.
That dog was reckless as hell on the road.
The dog was handed over to a friend of the driver while he was in jail. The dog does not face any charges so far.
That's good to know.
Remember Biden's shepherd, like fucking, didn't he
Bit
bite
somebody.
someone or
Yeah.
something?
Goddamn Joe Biden getting on that man's child support. It's terrible.
That was the best. Man, you gotta hate Biden. That seems like it would come more from a Trump hater, you know. I bet Trump did that.
Damn.
It's just
Everybody
not
knows
logical.
Joe Biden is a child support kind of guy.
I wouldn't trust it. Like Shannon says, he doesn't eat listener food. If it comes from a listener, he doesn't eat it. Isn't that right, Shannon? Yeah, he's not paying attention.
Did you see that email I forwarded you yesterday from Andy?
Yeah. It could have been trafficked. It happens.
Yeah, maybe it was. It was not handled the bestly.
No.
But
see, they used to. The second floor of this building had traffic department here. So traffic, not traffic as in traffic outside, but traffic in the spots.
Ordering of spots.
And it was all here. And then someone would literally be down there, placing spots.
Right.
And now that's been consolidated into, I think, New Mexico. Is it New Mexico, Shannon? Somewhere. Maybe Albuquerque. I think maybe Albuquerque. But they do it for, 100 of these buildings.
Right.
So it's like...
That's got to be fucking crazy.
Oh, I can't even imagine. I've had some so far off, it's like you got to scratch your head. So way back in the day when I owned the Goodyears, Tom and I were into it. We didn't talk for like 10 years. And I'd sit back and I'd listen to talk radio. Mostly I'd listen to KOA. I'd listen to Mike Rose and some other people.
Yeah.
And I was doing a lot of advertising, and I started noticing spots I was playing for fucking weren't playing. I didn't know how else to put it.
Right.
And then I called up, and sure enough, I get free spots. And I started going, okay, if it's happening to me, it must happen to every single advertiser everywhere. There needs to be a company that does nothing but that. All they do is monitor what played and what didn't. I don't know how you... Back then, I couldn't figure out how to do it, but now there's got to be computers that can easily figure that shit out. And then just make sure everything crosses off.
Right.
And if it doesn't, create a credit.
Right.
But, I don't think they're that hip on that idea.
I can imagine. Well, my bitch about it yesterday was that...
All right, let's do it.
630 KHOW, an iHeartRadio station.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Welcome to the show. John Fuller is with us, myaccidentlawyer.co. And let's talk to Rose about this hail damage on his home. Go ahead, Rose. What's happening?
Hey there, Tom. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, so long story short, I'm in my 30s. I finally managed to buy my own house. And we just had this recent hail damage, hailstorm go through. There's hail damage. I'm on my roof from what I can tell on the siding. There's holes in the window frames. And I just kind of wanted an overview of what the process is.
Okay, I'm glad you called. I'm glad you called.
Yeah.
Let me explain this to you because this is really important. Really important.
Uh-huh.
Don't call your insurance company first.
I didn't.
Good. Because when you call your insurance company, they automatically count it as a claim, whether or not they pay a dime, and your insurance will go up as a result. I know it sounds disgusting, but it happens. Insurance companies are disgusting. They're in business to hurt us, not to help us. They're a necessary evil. Okay, now let me explain what you need to do. I would normally say call a decent roofer like Excel Roofing who will give you an honest estimate of your roof damage. And you can do that. However, you also mentioned you have siding damage and window damage, right? So you are probably going to be shortchanged by your insurance company. Who is your insurance company?
Safeco.
Okay, good company. But you still, with an adjuster, are going to be shortchanged. You need, in your case, and this is a lot of damage that you can see, right, Rose?
Yeah.
You need, beyond a shadow of a doubt, you absolutely, positively need a public adjuster. At least start with one. A public adjuster is someone who works for the homeowner and they represent you against the insurance company or with the insurance company or at least gives you an idea of what damage you have. You can hire the people to fix the damage on your own. This public adjuster won't attempt to repair or recommend companies. The public adjuster is simply going to tell you what is wrong to make sure your insurance company treats you fairly.
He's going to write you a big fat check is the bottom line. Then you can go out and find a great roofer like Excel, a great siding company like K&H. But I wanted to ask one question. Have you looked at your deck page? Are you sure you don't have an actual cash value policy?
What is the deck page?
Well,
because I know Safeco offers them.
Okay, but okay. The only time, do you have an insurance broker or agent, or did you go direct to Safeco?
I have a broker, and then I also read that 20-page document about our policy, my wife's policy of mine.
Yeah.
For the home insurance.
Yeah.
And it specifically says certain things about siding and roofing. One of it is like, see, our siding is outdated. It's the stuff that they use. They stopped using in the late 90s. I forget the name of it, but they jokingly call it cardboard because it soaks up the water.
I
The
understand.
starting place here is you need to look at what's called the declarations page, and that's going to be the almost one-page document from your insurance policy that describes exactly what coverage you have. And once you know exactly what coverage you have, we can begin to figure out kind of what the road ahead looks like.
But I want you to call Paragon Services on our referral list.
You could send that policy over to Matt, and I mean he can give you a great idea just like that.
But talk to Matt. It's really important you talk to him. Seriously.
You know, if he has a wind and hail peril that's like, geez, he's either actual cash value or a percentage of the dwelling. Hold on, brother. That's all I can tell you.
All right.
So what I want you to do is call him. She'll get you the number off the air or look at referralist.com. You need the help. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Waterpros.net, the best water systems, lowest prices, paulthewaterman.com.
Very nice.
Now, Impact Traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Mark Moss Show.
Some messy spots on the Denver roads and freeways for the 11 o'clock hour. I-25 north and southbound, we are back to intended speeds into and out of downtown. Leaving downtown 6th Avenue eastbound, we are seeing some normal congestion on the off-ramp to I-25 southbound. Slow traffic back from Federal. East of downtown, I-70 westbound before Washington Street. A crash in the right lane. This one's already through road construction, so we're seeing heavy stop and go back from Monaco. About 11 minutes of delays into downtown. Fox 31, pinpoint weather nice and sunny right now. We're expecting highs in the mid-70s this afternoon. 1 or 2 scattered thunderstorms throughout the Denver metro before the day's end. The current temperature is 74 degrees. With your Impact Traffic and weather, Mark Swan, 630 KHOW.
The U.S. government admits out loud that it prints money out of thin air, but then why is a default likely? I'm Mark Moss, helping you navigate the decentralized revolution. Listen to The Mark Moss Show on the iHeartRadio app, on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, you know what? I think countertops are countertops are countertops, except when it comes to having them done. Once they're in and done the right way, you don't care about who put them in. But I'll tell you what, if they're not done the right way, it'll screw you up. So the Art of Granite, they fix screw-ups all the time. That's why I tell you, go to them first, the right way. What they do is fabricate and install beautiful counters of all kinds. Natural stone, man-made material, and they do it second to none. They will even give you a price on the phone because they're proud of their prices. They will give you a price on the phone. Call right now. Tear out and hallways free, the bathroom's free when you have the kitchen done. 303-386-5919. 386-5919. Mark your calendars for May 25th. I keep saying I'm going to be there, and I am going to be there. Mark's going to be there, and we also are going to have financial experts at a seminar, And I promise you, you will find out information, be able to ask questions, including ask questions of me about anything to do with what you're hearing, about annuities, about insurance, about bank
Social
accounts,
Security.
about mortgages, Medicare, Social Security, as Mark said. I mean, every topic that is facing a generation getting older. And whether you're middle-aged or facing retirement or already retired, this information is useful. BecomeTheBanker.org, of course, is the website, but Joe prefers that you call this number to register so we know how many people are going to be there. 303-800-2919. 303-800-2919.
You mean that...
Hey, Tommy?
Yeah.
I added a guest for this Thursday. I
Who?
just wanted you to know, because I'm sure you've already looked at your week.
Who is that?
It's Brendan Killian with Made in the Shade.
Okay.
So I don't. We can have him here, or you want him at your house? Fine.
Let me
I just
explain
wanted you
what's
to know
going
I
on.
added it.
Let me explain what's going on this week.
Sure.
I told Mark. I don't know if he was listening. So
Okay.
I'm tomorrow. I'm going to be in a little late. I may not. I mean, I should be by the time of the show, but Mark's got to be ready to start, and I'm
Okay.
definitely have to leave a little early.
Are you coming into the station?
No, because
Okay.
most of my stuff is up this way. So I have to go out for an appointment. And
Do you
then
want George here, or are you having George to your house?
that's what I have to decide. I have to talk to him. Maybe
Okay.
if I have him come here a little late, and he can come here. So
Okay.
that's what I'm going to do. And
Okay,
then
so you may be a little late. Got to leave a little early tomorrow. Perfect.
And then
okay.
Thursdays, then everything else is normal, yeah.
Okay. So you just let me know. I mean, about Brendan. If you're going to have him to your house.
No, I
fine.
won't, because tomorrow, excuse me, Thursday you mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, are you guys planning to come in or not?
Tom, we don't care either way. If you're having the guest to your house, Mark and I just prefer to be home, but
I'll
it
ask
doesn't
Brent.
matter.
I'll ask him. Where does he, do you know where he usually comes from?
I think he comes up from Arvada area, I think.
Okay, that would make me closer.
Who is it?
Okay, I'll let
Brendan
him know.
Killian with Made in the Shade.
Send.
And then can I tell you about the Zelle stuff real quick?
Yes.
Okay, if you want me to set that up, I can enroll in it for Troubleshooter Network's bank account, but I need access to that email, info@troubleshooter.com. I've never had access to that one, so I can do the verification code and all of that.
Oh, the alias.
Otherwise,
the
money
alias
get-
is mine, isn't it? I'm going to change that alias to go to you.
Well, or if you just want to powwow about it, and I can say, hey, Tom, I enrolled. You need to send me the activation code. I
Yeah.
don't know if you, I mean, we can
Yeah, that's
just
fine.
do it sometime.
Yeah, that's fine.
We have a few days. If we don't do it, the money sits in that listener's account until we enroll. If we don't enroll, it just stays with her. So I didn't want you to think the money will sit in limbo somewhere. So I'll let you know when I'm going to enroll.
Okay.
I'll do it before that date, the 24th.
All right.
And then, Tommy, Mark will be in Friday. I'm flying to New Orleans for my nephew's graduation.
Okay.
I might be bringing her to the airport. We haven't decided yet.
Okay. And that's when?
I'm out Friday and Monday, but Mark's here.
So did she already do the Jerry Spence thing?
Yeah, she loved it. She did. It was a mentorship.
She said, so the funny part is, she's like, it is so laid back there.
Yeah.
You walk into the office, unless
Everyone's
they're going to
dressed
court.
Casual.
Yeah, like jeans, flannel shirt. It is
Right.
where it is.
Right.
And then over here,
A capless.
forget about
You're
it.
formal.
To the fucking nines, every single person.
I got to get her a couple extra outfits. I bought her some attorney clothes for Christmas. She's just so cute in them.
Attorney clothes consist of a gun.
No, she's got to look professional, but
Do they have clients coming in?
I'm sure.
I have no idea. He
That's probably
sits
why
on
they
top of that Gillette building down there, literally at the top of it.
I know.
He has a whole floor, I guess, Adeline said.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my God. She's like, there wasn't one person there that was casual. Not even business casual, I guess.
Here you go, man.
Denver's talk station. Online at khout.com.
Hi. Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Let's talk to Xander. Xander, what is going on with you, Xander?
Hi, Tom. I was calling. I had an issue with the emissions testing facility. I have this 95 Corvette. I've taken it there 3 times now. The first 2 times I've had no issues. This third time I took it there, they're running it on the dyno like they always do, and they ran the thing up to 260 degrees and kept testing it. It's puking, cooling all over the place, and they kept going.
What kind of wait? What? How old is your car? How old is your car?
It's a 95, so it's getting close to 30 years old.
And was it on a dyno?
Yes.
Did they blow your engine?
No, but they blew the head gasket, and I went through the whole damage claim process. They denied it at first, and then I called the Department of Revenue. They reviewed it, and they denied it again, and they stated because I drove off in the vehicle afterwards, after it was overheated, that pretty much made the claim invalid. But you got a car sitting there at 260 degrees. You got to get driving in it to get some air into that radiator to cool it down. I was trying to prevent further damages.
Okay. I don't think if this car was under normal circumstances, in other words, they didn't test it beyond normal, then they're not responsible for a car that can't stand up to normal. They would only be responsible if they did something abnormal. For example, if a certain car should not be put up to a certain RPM. Or, in other words, did they exceed manufacturer's recommendations for that car? Did they exceed normal operating procedures? Did they abuse the car? That's the question. John, wouldn't you agree, John Fuller?
Yeah, there's going to be a standard of care that they shouldn't really go over, but it may be specific to each model. I mean, or the age of the vehicle. I don't know what the parameters are.
We would see this all the time in the shops, Tom. We'd have someone come in for whatever, an oil change. Next thing you know, the alternator or battery, something else goes out.
Right.
It doesn't mean I'm buying it.
Yeah.
And so, Tom, I understand that. But like the thing I want to say is, I'm a mechanic, so, I understand things go wrong with cars, especially older ones. But, my issue is it's a part of their job running the car on the dyno to, watch the gauges. And if they see something that's abnormal, like temperature rising to maxing the gauge out,
Okay, but that's what I just asked you. See, I just asked you, did you check and did they go beyond red line or beyond normal? That's what you have to prove. It's not going to be automatic. And you can go for damages, but you have to show the damage. You can't just say
how many,
it blew.
How many miles were on this engine?
Well, hold on. We'll come back and talk about it coming up.
You son of a bitch. I was biting on that.
On what?
432,000.
Mark's going to lose his shit over here.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Well, you said you almost bid on what?
John in here said it had 432,000 miles. My head almost exploded.
You talk about well-dressed attorneys. Mine is Harvey Steinberg. Just because. And when he's wearing shark skin, you can't tell where he starts and the suit begins.
I liked Tom when he described the bulldog.
There's a lot of things you can't tell about Harvey.
Hey, Tommy.
Yeah.
I've known him
Did
since
you want the new solar folks
the
in
70s,
studio?
Maybe? Late 70s.
Every bit of that, yeah.
Is that a priority?
Not a priority. We have them on the show enough, but when you get when you get a chance.
I know they're new, and I just hadn't scheduled them yet.
Yeah, when you can get them on, yeah.
All right.
I was on an airplane with him not too long ago, and, he's got to be every bit of that,
I don't even know who he is.
Well,
what's his last name?
If they ever find you standing over a
What
body,
is his name?
he can make it the body.
Martino.
He's not a bad one to have on your side.
What's his last name?
Steinberg.
Oh, he was
Harvey Steinberg.
one of my neighbors.
Oh, yeah, he's a good attorney. Or he was. Is he still around?
Okay.
Yeah.
Criminal guy?
He's around.
About the only case he ever lost was that I almost remembered her name. The woman who adopted the kid and killed the kid.
I always thought it was ironic.
Killed the kid with a spoon, remember?
No,
Beat
I
the
don't.
Kid with a spoon.
It can happen.
Renee Polrice. Renee Polrice. Yeah, that was it. That's it, like one of the only cases he ever lost.
Right.
They're trying to make it the kid's fault.
He jumped out in front of that spoon or something.
Yeah.
It can happen. No, he's a good attorney. No two ways about it.
He handles a lot of the Broncos every time
Indeed.
they make a kid that shouldn't be
Boy,
there.
that would be the place to get in if you were a criminal guy.
Oh, it's been lucrative. Boy, he also defended the skinheads that killed Bruce Vanderjack.
Yeah, I bet.
Did he get him off?
They didn't serve as much time.
Well, you kind of had. It depends on how you define get them off. You know.
Yeah.
Did they have lunch at Cherry Creek that afternoon? No.
They were right next to the Bagel Deli. And
Were
if
they
the
happy?
Nazi is
Yes.
going to be next to the Bagel Deli. You got to go in. And the best.
Yeah, the first article I pulls up, it says, according to a Broncos insider, he's a great attorney.
Bing.
Well, he does a lot of sports guys.
Many sports figures.
Oh, yeah.
This one was about Broncos wide receiver Jerry Jeudy.
Oh, yeah.
Judy.
Is this new?
Yeah, he's working on one right now.
Is he really?
Yeah.
How about that basketball player flashing guns on TikTok?
What a
Twice?
Well, he's lucky the cops got him in Glendale as opposed to shotgun security.
How does someone get to that level with that kind of discipline that I can only imagine would take to become truly an NBA star and then start doing stupid shit? I just don't get it.
What about the dumbasses that are out there saying, well, it's his constitutional right to bear a gun? And they're like, yeah, but the big contract with the NBA says thou shalt not. So
yeah, it's
pick
all
your
up
poison.
to them.
You can flash all the guns you want.
Tuesday. What else is new?
But you can be out of work. So
Tom used to get so mad thinking of that basketball coach that got fired, or the basketball owner that had to sell the team.
Yep.
But that's all that came back to, too, was his agreement with the NBA.
Right.
Hey, you make us look bad, you can get the hell out of here.
What'd he have, like a 35-year-old wife or like a 85-year-old
Yeah, but it was done in
owner or
private.
something?
It was so weird. It was like a house cleaner kind of weird shit.
But hold on, though. But he didn't go publicly to do
No,
that.
she grabbed like a cassette tape from his answering machine.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was a private conversation in his condo.
Yeah, but it got privately recorded, which was the problem.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is that he did not publicly go out and do that.
Yeah, you're right.
She did.
But she did.
Right. So he had to sell his team because in the privacy of his condo, he expressed hateful remarks. And I'm saying nobody agrees with the hateful remarks, but you certainly have a right to express anything you want in private.
Not when you have a contract with the NBA.
Mark, listen to what I just said. You have a right to express anything you want in private with an expectation of privacy. He had an expectation of privacy. The man could have fought the thing. He never went out and campaigned against blacks or against anyone. His public actions never reflected hate. It was they were private comments. Okay, they disgust me, but they were private. And
I don't think he could have fought it. I think he would have had to have done whatever the NBA wanted him to do with that franchise.
No, I understand that because they say they have the right to just do that. But I'm not saying but it wouldn't be constitutional under any book.
But he wasn't facing criminal charges, so the constitutionality doesn't even come into it.
The constitutionality comes in when you are saying because he expressed himself privately in the privacy of his home, he is suffering publicly.
The Constitution doesn't apply to that situation at all.
Well, I think it does. I actually think it does.
It doesn't. You're free to sign a contract for anything that you want.
No,
and
the contract
when it gets enforced against you, you can't claim the Constitution makes it invalid.
John, the contract did not say he's not allowed to have private thoughts.
Contract absolutely had a morality clause in it, and that's what they invoked.
The privacy, a morality clause, and that means they're policing his thoughts.
Yeah, but they policed his voice is what they policed, and once it got out, then we had a problem. And I don't care what the guy said in his... Yeah, I don't care what the guy said. Once it got out, either by malicious wife or whatever the source was, that horse was out of the barn. There was no putting it back in the barn, and the NBA had to do what they did just to maintain some integrity of the whole organization.
I agree. Once they knew what he thought, they had to do it. But I think he was a victim because
absolutely he was. He was a victim of his little bimbo wife, you know,
and of having his thoughts policed.
Well, it wasn't his thoughts that got him in trouble. It was his voice that got recorded. So
in the privacy of his home,
I contend who didn't keep it private.
I contend there are a lot of people who say and think things in private that right now would be absolutely canceled or fired or something.
Everybody does.
Yeah, 15 seconds, guys.
Take Dragon, for instance.
Dragon. I mean, gosh, that guy.
He's got that beard.
Love Dragon.
I don't know where the beard starts and his hair ends.
Yeah.
Ripped off, bad news. You need advice so you don't have to lose. We'll come running just as fast as we can. Troubleshooter's gonna help the common man.
This is the Troubleshooter Show. Now, Tom Martino.
Hey, Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. What is going on in your life and how can we help you? This hour brought to you by Frank Duran, therealestateman.com. Frank Duran, the real estate man with RE/MAX lines. He is on the buying or selling side, the winner for you. And if you want an analysis, just call him, 303-920-1622. He'll tell you what your house will sell for based on his stats, his action, his proven abilities to sell faster for more money. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com. Let's go to the phones. We got a lot of people who have been waiting, and I want to, first of all, I do want to go to a follow-up very quickly here with Susan. And I believe this was from Friday. Susan, I'm trying to find your call here. And this was an issue. It was an odd one for sure. Go ahead, Susan. Explain what the original problem was while I try to find your call here, Susan.
Well, my daughter and son-in-law had IVF.
Yeah.
And they went through all, I believe, the proper protocol. He doesn't make sperm, so or they couldn't find it in a specimen, so they did a surgery.
Right.
That in order to extract sperm.
Right. To extract sperm from him, right.
Correct. And
then I think I found the call. So basically, to speed this up, and I want John to weigh in on this.
Sure.
So they said, okay, we have the sperm. Then they prepared your daughter to receive it, or right, or to extract eggs, right?
Right.
They extracted eggs. They were going to do in vitro. And when they extracted eggs, she went through the process, and then they told her, we made a mistake. We don't have enough sperm. We never did have enough sperm. We made a mistake.
Correct.
And now you're thinking that's malpractice. So let's put it this way. This is how I'm weighing in as an amateur. I want to ask John something.
Sure.
I'm saying if they extracted the eggs properly, that wasn't malpractice. However, if they said we have sperm, then they don't, that's definitely a mistake for sure. And the argument would be your daughter went through the unnecessary and painful procedure of extracting eggs when if she knew her husband did not have the sperm, she would not have gone through. So, does that rise to the level of malpractice? And even if it does, are there enough damages to get an attorney to take it? Because she went through, how long was the procedure to extract eggs?
It was very quick, maybe 30 minutes.
Okay. And was she in excruciating pain as a result?
No, typical.
Okay. Now, was there emotional trauma associated with the letdown? So, John, all of these factors, do they mean malpractice?
Well, one quick question then, John, hop in, but did she pay cash for this, or this was under health insurance?
No, this is all, most of this is out of pocket.
Yeah, I don't think health insurance covers any kind of fertility stuff, but go ahead.
They do. Actually,
They do?
some companies actually do pay some toward. And I believe their health insurances have covered some.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. But that doesn't matter because we're talking about malpractice, and even if health insurance pays, you can still sue for malpractice.
Correct.
Oh, I thought she was literally calling because they spent a lot out of pocket and don't think they should have.
Well, that's a whole different issue. I'm talking about first malpractice. That's what I'm talking about first. Is it a malpractice?
So I don't even know if it rises to malpractice. It's certainly negligence of some variety, but again, you're gonna probably fail in the damages category. I mean, unless there's a significant out of pocket component, I don't know. And you know, even then, you're going to have to really look at the contracts that specify what exactly their representations are and everything else.
Yes.
But I mean, it's not good, but I can't imagine that it would justify when you really put the pencil to the paper that the damages would justify going forward, and you know, as opposed to just trying it again and hopefully being successful.
No, well, they don't have the sperm. They can't try it again. That's not the point. Is they told her we have sperm from your husband when they never had it. They made a mistake.
That. Yeah,
okay,
they made a mistake, but what are your damages, Tom? I mean,
no, I agree with you. I agree. They're going to fail on damages. As I told her on Friday, I thought that was the case. But I wanted to know this, though. I wanted to know if the emotional letdown, the negligence of telling her we have it, then we never had it. Is there anything that can be collected for that kind of emotional reliance, so to speak? I don't know.
You know, if it's negligent infliction of emotional distress is a thing, but I mean, how do you quantify that, Tom? I mean, really, what do you want for that? What's your payoff?
And that's exactly where the problem comes.
Does $10 make it even?
So here's what I'd like to ask, though. Are they charging her out of pocket for the procedure of extracting the eggs?
Yes.
They did not offer to cover that bill?
How much?
I don't know. I apologize. I don't know financial specifics.
See, that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering.
Crappy. I think, listen, it's poor management, okay? There's no question about it. And they should be trying to make it right with these folks by comping the procedure and everything else. Does it really rise to the level of a big case and stuff? I don't think so, but
I don't even know.
It doesn't make it a well-handled transaction, you know?
I don't even know how it could rise to that level. I would assume, and I don't know, but after IVF, is it possible to have a miscarriage? So therefore,
yes.
Of course it is. So
that's what I'm saying.
That'd be the same thing then.
There's no guarantee in IVF,
but I'm
period.
wondering this, though. Shouldn't they at least comp that procedure? That would seem common sense to me. It was unnecessary, and they should profit from that?
No, I agree. If they misrepresented that they had sperm before they did their egg removal, yes. But maybe that was not their fault. Maybe it was an outside lab and somebody got the count wrong. I mean, there's a lot more factual information that you need to really analyze this. But but I mean, you know, in a vacuum, no, they shouldn't have taken eggs if they didn't have active and viable sperm right there to do the rest of the procedure. But I mean, you could never take it to the next illogical step of, you know, the loss of the unborn child and stuff. I mean, you know, where do you end this analysis? And then, you know, the ability of that child to, you know, support the parents down the road. I mean, you can just take it to such an illogical extreme, but the reality is here, they did something they shouldn't have done. It did cost them some money. That's probably where they should make it right, and the whole thing should probably end.
Right. And by the way, she should at least ask for that. And also, you won't find an attorney to take it because malpractice has such tremendous upfront costs. They're not going to take a case that doesn't have a large damage component. Okay, so anyway, thank you for calling. And Paul,
you.
And I'm sorry, you know, we just, You're going to have to make your own inquiries, but they should probably, in my opinion, man, I would expect them to comp that bill and say, look, this was unnecessary on our part. Unless, as John said, it wasn't their fault and it was another lab, then you might want to try to get at least that expense covered. Paul, what is the issue here with your house title, sir?
Okay. I live in Jefferson County. My house is paid for. My wife passed away, and I have an original copy of her death certificate.
When did she pass away, Paul?
2004.
Okay.
So my tax man brought this to my attention, and I talked to the ladies down at the title department in Jeffco, and they said, yes, you should get her name off the title.
Well, hold on. So how was the house titled?
In both of our names.
Well, how though?
Tenants in common, or how was
it
titled?
Joint tenancy, or was it tenants in common?
I don't know. The house is paid for.
No,
So
I understand that. But okay, here's what you need to do. You need to ask someone how it's titled, okay?
I talked to the lady down there at the title department, and she said, yes, you should get her name off the title. And so I said, is that a simple matter that I can fill out a piece of paper? She says, you probably should have a legal assistant.
Okay.
So my question is,
yeah,
what lawyer or who should I get to help me with this?
Okay. I'm going to tell you, all right? But I'm going to tell you that if it is a joint tenancy where you and your wife both own the house, it automatically passed to... it's tenancy in common involves an undivided...
passes at death. No, you were saying it right, Tom.
Okay.
Joint tenancy.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that you automatically retained ownership of the whole home. However, it's not a bad practice to get your wife's name off, and that doesn't require anything except a quitclaim deed. If you want to do...
It doesn't require a quitclaim. It only requires that death certificate, Tom. Once they see
no,
that,
I understand, but I meant
passed.
if he wanted to get it just in his name, or if he wanted to do a general warranty deed. I was about to tell him it's not even necessary, but if for some reason you don't like it that way, where you have automatic ownership with the death certificate or a quitclaim deed, if for some reason you want a general warranty deed only in your name, then you would have to go to some, like a McKenzie, Dan McKenzie does estate law, and he could easily do the paperwork, but it's not necessary. If your ownership is held the way most husbands and wives hold ownership.
It would be very odd for it to be tenants in common with a spouse. Yes. Very odd.
Yeah, of course it would. Usually when they title it with spouses, they title it so it automatically reverts to the survivor. When you buy a house as a partnership or a business, it then has a divided interest where when someone dies, it goes to their estate, and you don't automatically assume it. So that's the first thing you have to find out. What kind of ownership? Call us back.
There and ask. I can ask the ladies at the title department if I am a joint tenancy
or tenants in common.
It should be on your deed. If you have a copy of your deed, it'll say right there how you guys hold the property.
Right on there,
it would be so strange for it to be a different way, though, man.
Now, by the way, Dan, go ahead.
The only reason I brought this up is my tax man said you should probably get her name off the deed since she's passed away. And I called down to the Jeffco place, and they said, well, do you have a death certificate, an original copy? Yes. Well, you could get that name off of there, and
right.
You could also put my son is also my heir. I could also somehow put him on there.
No, you don't want to do that. See, listen, man. Here's the problem with people. The reason you don't want to do it the way you're talking about doing it is because he'll inherit your basis. Already half of the house has a stepped-up basis because of your wife's death. What you want to do is not screw around with leaving stuff to your kids before you die unless you talk to an attorney, because it can have tremendous negative tax consequences. You can do a beneficiary's deed. You can do a
step-up is going to backdate to the
Listen.
wife's death, so that's already like 15 years ago.
Yes,
So-
but what you want...
Okay, well, here's what I will do then. I will double-check as to what this is, but I will probably do nothing.
No, I was just going to say something. If you want to avoid probate and have your son, the house avoid probate, you can do a beneficiary's deed with your son, but please call an attorney to do this. McKenzie Law Firm could do a very easy beneficiary's deed. Let me explain what that means. That means upon your death, it automatically reverts to your son, and in a stepped up basis, which means he will have less tax consequences if he wants to sell it. And Dan McKenzie can do this.
I will call the Dan McKenzie.
Yeah,
law
let me
firm
give you
and
the
talk
number.
to
It's
him.
833-CO Plans. He's a great guy. 833-CO Plans. More coming right up.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyers.
All right, coming up next time, you got about 10 seconds.
So important to
I'll go
hire
to Joe
someone
first.
that has those.
Okie dokie.
With one of Cordell & Cordell's Denver area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 303-221-DADS. CordellCordell.com.
So in about 9 days, the 25th of May, we're going to be meeting at the Tech Center, in the Tech Center. Joe, where is that going to be, by the way? Tell us what we're going to learn. It's a seminar. We're all going to be there to talk about growing older, financing, income, investments, insurance, Medicare, Social Security. Joe, where is it going to be?
Everything. Basically, the seminar will be held at the Sheraton DTC, Denver Tech Center, at 7007 South Clinton Street, and that's in Greenwood Village, Colorado. 6:30, and people are going to be getting a tremendous amount of education, Tom. Education that people need today that they should have been taught in school many years ago. That's the comment that we hear. We hear, I wish I would have known about this many years ago.
He's going to have experts in all those fields there, Tom. Every one of those fields we just mentioned.
Yeah, you know what I also love? And Joe, when you explain how money works and the banking system and how you can, the name of your company, become the banker, how that works, and why you call it that. You explain the money system.
That is right. And right now, people are worried about the money system. People are worried about banks. People are worried about their retirement accounts. People need to move that money into safety. And this is exactly what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about opportunities to have people grow their money but not lose a dime.
Yeah, and by the way, he's talking about guarantees in writing. And it's important to say there's nothing to buy at all. Of course, there are products and services available, but this is an educational seminar. 303-800-2919 to register. 303-800-2919. That's becomethebanker.org. All right, let's talk about window coverings. Man, they come in all shapes and sizes and all technologies, because you can have powered, unpowered, high-tech, low-tech apps for your phone. You can have shades, shutters. You can have the cordless shades, of course. That's what they're doing now, the pull down and up. Wonderful, wonderful window coverings, all from Made in the Shade. They have all the major brands. They guarantee installation with their in-house crew. They even come and estimate for free with full measurements, and then they have a design helper to help you get the right stuff. Made in the Shade. Look for them at referralist.com, 720-458-6566, 720-458-6566. I hope that you never need a defense attorney. Joe Lazara is there, though, and we've heard on the show several times when people innocently get into trouble. And when I say innocently or falsely accused, now sometimes they do something outright stupid. But whatever it is, you can never do this system alone. You need a skilled defense attorney, and that's Joseph A. Lazara. I've known him for years and years. And all you have to do is go to thereferralist.com to find him. It's Lazzara, LazzaraLegal.com as well, 303-429-6200, free initial consultations. And then flat rate pricing, 303-429-6200.
Crazy ways to calculate that stuff. But
Look at this guy. He's just stealing a car and just fucking running into people. It's crazy.
This goddamn country is just going off the rails.
It's a mess.
Hey, when you're not afraid of going to jail, shit.
Right? I was in a store not long ago, and the goddamn buzzer at the front door just kept going off. Like, somebody walking out with something. And I was like, good God, do you guys do nothing about that? She's like, they don't pay me to do that shit. This was the manager of the store.
Right.
Not only do they'll get fired for doing something.
Yeah, you're right, Tom. They will.
They don't want him to.
We had a guy come in our son's store with a bow and arrow.
Fucking quiver. Literally, man, a quiver the whole bit. Fucking
Virtual
crazy
goggles
as fuck.
on his head and real bow and arrow. Miles is like, you gotta leave, dude.
Just shoot him and be done with it,
I'm surprised.
Anybody that wanders into a Walmart
What,
like
Tommy?
that,
I'm surprised he didn't get in trouble for telling the guy to leave.
No, he didn't get in trouble for that, but it's just crazy. Some of the stuff he's ran into out here in Aurora before he left.
They fired him. It's like you clearly did society a favor. Dude was on parole. He went to prison. On every level you did a good thing, but they fired him. And they're appealing it through the union and stuff. That was on the TV the other day.
That's crazy.
It is absurd. Just absurd.
The biggest one I thought was crazy was on video, the guy that owned that little convenience store in New York. And the guy came in pulling a blade on him, ready to stab him to death, robbing him.
Like blew his arm off.
And the guy killed him, I think. And they arrested him.
All right, 15 seconds, guys.
DraftKings Sportsbook. This hour from the Trajan Wealth K-House Studios. Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors. TrajanWealth.com.
Hi, Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Welcome to the show. Let's continue taking your calls, questions, and complaints. Dennis has a question on shipping cars. Dennis, welcome. What's going on, Dennis?
Hi, Tom. How's it going?
I'm doing good, man. What's going on with you?
I'm looking to ship 2 cars from Denver. I'm moving to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, basically. And I filled something out online. I've been inundated with phone calls and texts.
Right.
And I heard you talk about moving scams, and so car moving scams would probably be no different.
Right. First of all, the people you see online are mostly aggregators or they're brokers, and they don't do any moving of cars themselves. That's
what I found out.
There are good people that transport cars, and the way I found out, what do you think I did? I went to people who transport cars a lot. I went to Sharpest Rides, and I asked Kevin, I said, hey, who do you use to transport your cars? And when you want to get a car from across the country or something, who do you use? And I believe they gave me a name. I'm looking for it right now. Yeah, Baja Auto Transport is one out of Denver that's reliable. And I've also used others. But
I called JFR Cars. He knows all these guys.
Yeah, you can call him too, right? And he'll know Baja. Baja's a pretty popular, pretty local, dependable people. But Baja, and they're not advertisers or anything. I just happen to know because I asked Sharpest Rides. But you can also ask. Any good car dealer will tell you who they use, especially when it comes to like exotic cars or fancy cars. They usually ship across the country. Don't ever get the shippers that drive the cars. All right.
Talking about. Okay. Yeah.
Dennis, what kind of car? What kind of cars are you shipping?
I got a '93 Corvette and a 2019 Volvo S60.
Yeah. Now they'll put them on. You have your choice. They have open transports, closed trailers, one at a time, two at a time. Again, I also used others, and I forget the other one I used. But man, I loved the one I used. Baja was one time, but then there was another one time. Oh, JS Auto Transport. Really good people, JS Auto Transport. So either one of those, and again, you can call JFR Cars. They're a dealer and a broker, and they will know somebody too. But these are two I have personal experience with. JS Auto Transport. JS is not out of Denver, but it doesn't matter where they're out of. They travel all over the place.
Right.
So anyway, you'll find some good ones. Okay, now, John Fuller, let's talk. We were talking about the difference between malpractice and negligence, and I was surprised because I never actually heard that someone say, well, it's not malpractice, but it's negligence, because obviously malpractice is in the procedure itself, right? The procedure itself. Did it go right or wrong? Did you do it right or wrong? Whereas the negligence is everything else. Yes? No?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the professional negligence is the failure to follow the standard of care for what other professionals in that same field would do. And then negligence is just, a kind of a lesser burden of just the, your standard duty, breach, causation, and damages analysis. I mean, I just think that the duty of a professional in a malpractice context is a little bit higher than just a normal negligence approach.
Okay. So you would have to say it wasn't just something went wrong, but it would have to be below.
In that last context, let's say it's a lab tech that screwed up, okay?
Yeah.
The lab tech is not really a licensed professional. They're not a doctor or, somebody that's a professional. They're just more of a clerical staff. They made a mistake. That's probably not professional negligence, because there's not really a standard of care for practitioners in that field because they're not really a licensed practitioner. And maybe that's not the best example, but I'm just saying that among the professionals, you have a certain degree of or standard of care, and then you have everybody else. And if you fall into the category of everybody else, it's going to be more of a simple negligence approach than it would be a professional malpractice type approach.
303-713-8255. More coming right up.
This is Denver's Talk Station with Michael Brown in the morning and Dan Kaplis in the afternoon. 630 KHOW, Denver.
This report is sponsored by Our American Stories.
Plenty of slow spots throughout the Denver metro as we hit that noon hour into downtown. Watch out on I-25 southbound.
Yeah.
Is there any way to
between
not have these
58th
two
and
together?
Spear Boulevard, just east of there, I-70 westbound. Road construction continues at York.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's do Harris instead.
No. Yes. So I can do retirement and Harris?
Yeah, let's do Harris.
Okay.
Maintenance vehicle in the left lane. Fox 31 pinpoint weather. Sunny for the moment. Warm out there. We're expecting highs in the mid-70s. However, watching out for scattered thunderstorms later this afternoon. The current temperature 74 degrees. With your impact traffic and weather, Mark Swan, 630 KHOW.
10 seconds, buddy.
Superman battled the Ku Klux Klan. Be sure to listen to this week's edition of Our American Stories on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Retirement Planning Center of the Rockies are sponsors of this show. The people there are sponsors of this show, and I use them personally. I've employed them to help me get all the elements together of my retirement and make sure I have enough of what I need, including investments and income. And The elements I have, maybe a 401k, an IRA, those are elements, but a plan involves much, much more. They take a look at everything you have in your life, the real estate, the other stuff, any assets, any liabilities, and they help you get ready for eventual retirement. No matter how young or old you are, they can work with you. They're family owned and operated. They're a family run operation, and I love working with them. They're in constant touch with me, telling me what I need to do to make my goals and helping me along the way. Why don't you get a free analysis? rpcenter.com is the website, rpcenter.com, 970-663-3211. Now, part of getting ready for retirement would be an estate plan. Did you know Harris Family Law, in addition to family law, they also do estate planning, wills, trusts, avoiding probate, or if you're facing probate. If you need help transferring ownership of a home or doing it the right way to your heirs before you die with a beneficiary's deed or any other tool like a cash on death payable bank account, Harris can do all of that for you. HarrisFamilyLaw.com, 303-515-5000.
I still can't believe we did it that many times. You could wreak havoc. Havoc.
We go from full lines to no lines.
I even put out a YouTube, whatever you call it, live this morning, saying, going to the radio show, call in with questions, you know. Been trying to put those out. I hate doing them because I don't have anything to say. Like, hey.
Yeah.
I've got like 165 YouTube videos. I don't even know how I got that many, but I do. And then I've got like 100 and something TikToks.
Cool.
Shit ton of Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff. I mean,
Is it gaining you traction with some followers and whatnot?
slow.
Oh, okay.
Very slow. That's why we were doing that contest, and we still are. You know, every time I
Oh,
mention
for the
it on
dash
the air, we get like 3 people that sign up.
Oh, cool, cool, cool.
But I'm good, but thank you.
Oh, Scott will grab something.
No, I already did. I got
There's all kinds of stuff in there.
Sure.
But you know, every time we mention it on the air, I get probably 4 or 5 people. And so
Mention what?
TikTok
the
and
dash
YouTube
cam,
Oh,
followers.
yeah.
video and all that stuff. You know, I can't imagine. I mean, these things are like $100. You know, I would think that.
I think it's more or less a pain in the ass to electrify them.
Yeah, it's really not though. They come with a wiring harness, dude. They're like, it's way better than when you were like a kid trying to wire up a stereo.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
No, they've got like little plugs that go in the side of fuses and stuff. I mean, it's like, it's the simplest thing in the world to hook up.
No shit.
And I buy the whole wiring harness that's made for that dash cam, and it just works like a charm. So
Look at this. This is funny as fuck. I don't know if Suzanne's even seen this yet.
What is it?
Tesla, let's just. So. It tells me if anybody's near the car or anything, but that's not what I'm trying to show you. So
You
that's
got
the
built-in
front.
dash cam on that car.
So if you're parked at like Dandy Dan's or something, she's going to see the sign.
That's right. That's why I got a fake sign that goes in
That's
front.
right. Put it right in front. There's like
Church. Did you see that, babe?
No, what is it?
That last Tesla update. Isn't that weird? It shows the inside of the car. So it says...
Well, you could do it. You could enable that from inside the car. You're saying now you do it on the app, too.
Just, all of a sudden that button showed up. But the cool part about Tesla, if it thinks something's going to happen, I don't know what that means, all the cameras start rolling.
Yeah.
Every fucking camera that car has. And then I guess it's smart enough to at least think there knows it's going to be a crash.
Right.
All right, 15 seconds here, guys.
Kind of the same way.
Once and learn for life. Rosetta Stone, how language is learned.
Got hail damage? Call Excel Roofing, 303-761-6400.
Denver's talk station, 630 KHOW.
Hi, Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. If you have a question, problem, or complaint, we have full lines all morning. We have open lines now. You can get right through. We have John Fuller with us, myaccidentlawyer.co. That's myaccidentlawyer.co. And I often wonder about personal injury and negligence cases. There have been so many different kinds. And John, I wondered, this was a text question, would there be any kind of damages that you could think of that would be worth pursuing? Now, I don't think this happened to this texter. I think it's just a question. And I often wondered it. And we've seen it in movies where someone is diagnosed with a fatal disease, and they say you have to get your life, your affairs in order, and they're going through anguish. And then 6 months later, maybe a year later, they find out it was a misdiagnosis, completely mixed up the results with someone else maybe. Or that's how the movie scenarios go. And then, of course, you know, the guys learn to live every day as it's
I'd be the happiest son of a bitch on the planet if that happened to me.
You'd be happy. Hold on. You'd be pissed off, too, though. I know, but you'd be pissed off in a way that it was that you went through this anguish. John, seriously, though, if something like that happened, would that be actionable?
I think there have actually been cases like that out there, Tom. I mean, I wouldn't take that case. I think that most juries would struggle to award damages for that, but I mean, it's really no different than a misdiagnosis, you know, except that your damages are one heck of a lot worse in a misdiagnosis than, you know, than getting it wrong on the good side. But I think there have actually been cases like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it could be devastating financially if you had to liquidate things or do different things. But, you know, it's the kind of thing that, you know, I know people wonder, you know, like, and then another one we get, John, and again, it's not that you do malpractice, you do 99% accidents and all of that traffic, but I just like to talk about stuff that comes in. But, you know, people ask all the time about mistakes, you know, they opened up the wrong leg or the wrong arm. I mean, that stuff is just flat out still.
Or they left something in you. You hear like, oh, he forgot to take the knife out or something.
Yeah, for sure. Those happen all the time.
Then another one.
Those are clearly a deviation from the standard of care. The question then becomes, what are your damages? Is it a subsequent surgery? You know, did it get infected? Did you lose a limb because of it? I mean, there's so many possible outcomes there. But in a vacuum, yeah, it's a definite deviation from the standard of care.
And another one is when somebody says they missed the diagnosis. I didn't have migraines. I had a brain tumor. The question, and I know we've had it on the show, and you said, did the delay in finding that tumor mean that it was is that what caused it to be inoperable at that time, or would it have been inoperable anyway? In other words, did the delay actually increase the problem, or, you know, or add to the problem in any way, shape, or form? If anything, one could argue that you had, you know, a few months of not worrying about it.
Well, it always comes up in the context of, like, you know, a cancer diagnosis. You know, they misread a pap smear, or they misread a you know, some sort of scan or something, and then 3 years later they find out that they're in stage 4, you know, at the very end, and they go, well, how could this be? We had no, you know, we had clean tests and stuff, and they go back and they re-review it and find out, oh, the whatever the tech was that was reading it missed it, and so what happens in that case is they missed an opportunity to cure that person or operate and remove it and stuff. And so now it's progressed to the point where they're on death's doorstep, and there are tons of those cases out there. And yeah, I think the damages are pretty easy to quantify in that case. So
how about chain of events? So like when you represented Suzanne and I, we happened to be coming back from Sam's Club. So not only did you get us the maximum limits and all that, but the insurance company actually ended up paying for all our food that went bad in the car.
No fooling. No fooling.
How about if you take that further, though, and we're headed to a once-in-a-lifetime 3-week riverboat cruise in Asia, and some moron runs a red light and crashes into us. We end up missing the trip. There's no refund. At what
Mark,
point
that's a
does
very
the chain of events-
very common scenario.
Happens all the time.
So how far does it go, though? Like you were saying
how
on
far
one
does
of the
it
other
go?
calls.
How far?
Then the kid doesn't grow up in order to take care of us when we're older. I mean,
Right.
how far do you bring a scenario?
Well, listen, I've had those exact things before, and so we get documentation to prove that they were non-refundable, that we tried, that there was no rescheduling it available. I mean, when it's an economic loss, just like anything else.
You know what? Years ago, John, we had a guy that went to, I believe it was the Ali, whatever Ali fought in Africa with. It was Foreman or Frazier. I don't know. It was a big fight, man. No, the Thriller in Manila. Who was the Thriller in Manila? The Thriller in Manila. Anyway.
Frazier?
In any case, he had photos, and he was there, and it was a trip of a lifetime, and those were the days where we had photo booths, honest to God. They lost them, or they destroyed them, or something happened. And this
Frazier.
How do you put a value on that? And do they take into consideration, John, in something like that, the emotional toll? Seriously, he sued them. I forget. I remember doing a story about it, but I don't remember the outcome. What happens in something like that? Does it take into consideration those extraordinary circumstances?
Or a wedding photographer that loses everything.
For sure, yeah. So listen, let me just give you the formula for every single damage like what you're talking about. And we can come up with 1,600 of them in the rest of the show today. As long as it's a legally compensable damage, meaning there's some tort that you could claim that would make you entitled to recover those, the actual value of that loss is what some jury would award you if they were presented with all of the facts and all of the, contrary facts or defense and stuff like that. What that hypothetical jury would come up with is what that case is worth. Now, whether an insurance company would pay that just simply depends on what their belief is as to what the jury would do and whether it makes sense for them. That's it.
Isn't there coverages? I've heard of these where the jury will award $80 billion quadrillion, and then when it's all done and over, the judge knocks it down to $400,000.
And that may be more a factor of the statutes in the state where that happens, because there are caps. And Colorado has caps, and many states have caps, and the juries don't hear about the caps. So they don't want the jury to say, okay, well, this category is capped and this one's not, so we're going to put all our damages over here. So they don't tell the jury about what the caps are. They let the jury assess what they believe the damages are, and then the judge conforms the judgment to the applicable state laws and those caps. Yep.
Okay, so it was the Thriller in Manila, and it was Ali and Frazier.
What is this? How long ago is this?
Before you were born.
God,
holy moly!
Oh, this was way back. Yeah, I mean, I forget what year it was, but I remember, man. I remember that.
The Thriller in Vanilla?
1975.
It was 1975.
Okay, I was 3.
And, and I remember it because
you were like 47 and it was your first fight.
No, I was out of high school. I was working for a newspaper and going to college. And I remember this.
I got to find this video of Tom and show you, John. In fact, someone listening on YouTube will be able to send it to me. But this horrible bridge collapsed like 1,000,000 years ago. I think it was in New York or Florida.
No, it was Florida, St. Petersburg. The Sunshine Skyway Bridge was, a tanker ran into it.
And he's out there just Joe Blow, a reporter guy, man, for the local news. And it is so crazy just looking at Tom. How old were you then? 18, 20? I mean,
in my 20s.
You must have been fresh out of
my early 20s.
There was just a movie about that not too long ago.
That was a sick. I got there before anyone. I was the first
one there. Wasn't there cars like literally running right off of it?
Yeah, because it was foggy, they couldn't see, so they would drive up.
That's like the worst nightmare.
They would drive up like a ramp.
And that's it.
And fly. Listen, I interviewed a guy that was in his pickup. It flew. Listen to this. It flew up, down onto the boat, onto the bow, he bounced out of his truck, and his truck went in the ocean.
Yep.
And
And he lived?
he landed on the deck of the ship. Then we had another guy.
Was he like one of these guys that literally walks away from all that?
Yeah. And we had another guy. He drove his car, and he saw something did not look right. He slammed on his brakes, and the front wheels went over the edge of the bridge.
Oh.
And he got out of his car. Listen, he starts running. He gets about a quarter mile down the safe end. He runs back because he said, I left my car running and it was unlocked.
Oh, my God.
No,
Really? He was crazy.
He was in shock.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, my God. I remember these interviews like they were yesterday. Anyway, we got more coming up. I've got to take this break. I'm Tom Martino.
Now, Impact Traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Truth with Lisa Booth podcast.
Some major slowdowns all throughout the Denver metro for the noon hour, starting on the west end of town through Jeffco. I-70 eastbound recovery crews still working on an earlier accident before 32nd and Youngfield. We're looking at about 10 minutes of delayed driving through the scene, heavy congestion through the area. All the way over to the opposite end of town through Aurora, I-225 northbound approaching 6th Avenue. Road work with 2 left lanes closed. Slow traffic back from Mississippi. Fox 31 pinpoint weather, still sunny out there. We're looking at highs in the mid to upper 70s. A couple clouds rolling in later this afternoon with chance of scattered thunderstorms. The current temperature in Denver is 75 degrees. With your Impact Traffic and weather, Mark Swan, 630 KHOW.
Hey guys, it's Lisa Booth. So when did America become a Mark?
10 seconds there, Tom.
Study the issue and gives us a glimpse into the future if we don't act now. Listen to The Truth with Lisa Booth every Monday and Thursday on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Vital home services like plumbing, heating, cooling, electric, and drains. I love Fix It 24/7. Yeah, they do repair, maintenance, replacements, and here's the deal. When they come to my house, I had a problem not more than a month ago, and it was $39. Yep. And they come and find the problem, tell me what it is, give me a solution, what it will cost to fix. And if I decide to have the work done, which I always do, I don't pay the $39. The call is free, and then they do the repair with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If I ever decided, I'm not going to do that right now, all I pay is $39. FixMyHome.com. Fix it 24/7. 720-526-3939. Hey, the art of granite is the art of doing things the right way with countertops, and they do way more than granite. How's that for a name? The art of granite. And they will do any natural stone, any man-made material, any engineered stone. That's what they do, and they give you a price on the phone. They tear out and haul away free. They do the bathroom free when you have the kitchen done, and they can do any counter you want with wholesale on all materials. They charge for fabrication and installation. They're proud of their prices. Get the price now, 303-386-5919, 386-5919, theartofgranite.com. All right, mark your calendars, the 25th of May. And it's in the Tech Center. What did he say, Mark? The Sheridan at the Tech Center. We're going to be there at 6:30, and we're going to talk about everything financial as you grow older. That doesn't mean only old farts are going to be there. No. It means anybody. I think you can benefit from this from 35 on up, because they're going to be talking about long-term care. They're going to be talking about Social Security, Medicare, but other things too, like just planning for retirement, building annuities, and building life insurance where you can have income for life. BecomeTheBanker.org. If you'd like to sign up, call this number, 303-800-2919. That's 303-800-2919.
I hope someone sends that video of Tom. You know what?
We have it somewhere.
We have it.
I know. I went to save it.
Tom, just as an FYI, you'll have about 30 seconds coming back.
I know I have
Ah,
it.
shoot.
I think Skyway Bridge disaster, Tom Martino. We might find it right on YouTube.
It's WTVT.
I bet you this is him.
WTBT?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
TVT.
Is that who he worked for?
WTVT, he said.
This is it then. This is going to be it.
Hey, Tommy.
Yeah.
Apparently, I think Ryan. You know Ryan Schuling?
Yeah.
He is dying for a replica of your clock with your face on it.
Does he want his face on
like
it?
Jim Croce.
No, he wants your face on it. He loves it.
He looks like Jim Croce. I used to say that all the time.
Jim Croce, Geraldo.
We had a lady call up that called him Geraldo for an entire phone call.
Nice.
Okay, Geraldo, but what can you do to help me? God.
That is totally Geraldo.
I think Tommy's way better looking than Geraldo.
Well, you can't see
Geraldo's
that detail,
like
but it's just a
90
big
years
stash
old.
going
Yeah,
on,
back,
you know?
yeah.
You know how he made his career. He walked into that fucking insane asylum.
It wasn't supposed to be an insane asylum like it was. I mean, it was supposed to be a home.
Are you hearing Tom, Mark? Yeah. Says it wasn't supposed to
Was
be
it?
an
It was Willowbrook, right?
Yeah, Willowbrook. Oh, it was. I saw some of that real footage on some special they had last year. My God, you can't explain how bad that place was. They were in their own feces, just like hundreds of people walking around completely naked, starving. It was unbelievable.
Staten Island, I believe.
Wow.
That's where it was, Staten Island?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I've seen,
I think he shut it down,
camps
bro.
out of Vietnam that look better.
I think he shut it down.
I just can't believe the state actually had a place like that.
Oh, my God. New York was famous for their asylums. They had a Poughkeepsie asylum. Remember that one, Poughkeepsie? Very famous.
I've heard that, yeah.
And the big one, of course, in New York is, what's it, the one downtown, the big one. What's the big mental institution?
Where?
In New York City. My freaking cousin got there.
Yeah, Bellevue.
Bellevue, yeah.
My freaking cousin.
They found her. They found her running down
the subway.
The subway, buck naked.
Nice.
She just had a mental breakdown. I mean, it's one of those things I just never asked about. Hey, Mom, why did she do that again?
Tell me again about the gene pool that we're working with here, you know.
I was going to say the insane asylum in New York was One Police Plaza. But
yeah.
That's where the commissioner is.
God, that is something. You are so young in that video, dude. You know, that video's been seen so many times, it's unbelievable.
Well, let's see, how old
was that, 1980?
1980.
Okay, it was
40
that was
years
right,
ago.
hold on, right before I came...
You were 20.
Wait, right before I came here. Hold on. It couldn't have been that soon.
It was on May 9th, 1980, when the unthinkable happened.
Oh, my God, in that fall, I'm in Denver? Come on.
6 cars, a truck, and a bus? So there was a bunch of people that died.
Oh, my God.
35 people died.
Mark, when I looked over the edge and you see the bus on its side under the water and you see the heads bobbing up in the windows.
Oh, my. How long did it take, like, when you got there? It'd been what?
I didn't live far away from there. I lived on the south side, so that's
why.
How
did it work back then? Someone, like, literally calls your house phone and says, get out there?
We have pagers, yeah. So, we had pagers, and I had a car, a news car I took home. We all took news cars home.
How many pagers did you wear, Tom?
I just had one.
God. We got 15 seconds, guys.
But yeah, do you remember pagers, for God's sakes?
I didn't even know they were around in 80. I thought pagers were after that.
No
More
cell phones.
Plus Dr. Jesse Lopez is back, and much more on the Joe Pag Show. Tonight from 6 to 9
Then we had
on
two-way
630
radios.
K-How.
All right, we're running out of time, but please, Richard and Ashley, hang on the line because we have John Fuller here, and I want him to weigh in on this. Plus, we have a lot more to talk about. John, somebody else wants to talk about IMEs. Oh, my God, that's a topic that gets me going. I'm Tom. Remember, save all your problems for me. We'll be right back with more of the Troubleshooter Show.
Hey, Tom, were you married to Donna then when you came out here, or you met her out here?
No, I was married to Donna forever.
God, that's unbelievable.
I was married to Donna right out of college.
What did she do right out of college?
Bank. She was a bank. She was a teller, but then she became a
banker.
Branch. They called them branch managers. Yeah.
Huh.
She was a branch manager here in Colorado too. For Frontier, there was a bank on Evans called Frontier Bank. It was before the, I believe that's what it was called, or wait, Western, I don't know, something like that.
And who offered you your first job out here? Why'd you guys end up moving out here?
Well, I was in, okay, here's what happened. I was in New York, in Florida, as you saw, in Tampa. That was a big station. But then for a very short time, literally a few months, I went to North Carolina. And because of my reporting there on that bridge and some stuff I did in North Carolina, I got a headhunter call. And that's what they used to call them. They would go out and find people.
Yeah, yeah.
And
that was KOA.
And then they offered me a job out here. Roger Ogden was taking over. He left Channel 9 and came to Channel 4.
Oh, I'm thinking radio. This was all TV, of course.
Right. And so I came to Channel 4 when it was KOA TV and then KOA radio. So I came here for both of those. And then Alan Berg was on the air, and I
remember that part.
And so, anyway, yeah, I was on Channel 4 there for a long time.
He would do, did you know this? He would do 15-minute segments on Alan's show.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's
almost like a Paul Harvey kind of.
Yep, that's exactly.
Oh, Alan Berg?
Yep. And then Alan had a TV show, and I was.
Were you at when he got shot? That wasn't here. Was that 13th and Lawrence? Where was that?
We just moved. We had just moved to 14th and Lawrence.
Holy! So he got shot right in front of there?
No, he was at home.
His house.
He was at home.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had gone out to get dog food for Fred, and he was getting out of his Volkswagen, walking up the driveway. He was shot in front of his Volkswagen. And
God bless, man.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden we get phone calls, and we all gathered at 14th and Lawrence. It was such a shocker. My God, was it?
Yeah, it's crazy even thinking about it.
I know it. Then I had to take, I think I took a show the next day, or it could have been the next day.
I didn't realize he did. He would have you on as a consumer guy, but it's just way before my time. I never listened to him. What was he pure politics?
He was anything. He was
like Russ Johnson, if you will.
Well, yeah, but he was more like a Howard Stern meets Rush Limbaugh.
Okay.
He was like crazy.
But then he'd do this consumer thing.
Well, with me.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, he'd have me on to talk about stuff, rip-offs and all. He loved all that stuff. And, yeah, it was terrible. And then he, what else did he do? And he had me on his TV show, too.
What was that like? Kind of like what
he had an
all-night.
He had an all-night TV show. Then he had, it wasn't all night. It was Joey Reynolds had the all-night TV. He had me on, and then I went on. Alan had a daytime TV show. He had me on. They experimented with a TV show for him.
Oh, Tommy put in his dues, didn't he? Showing up for all-night TV stations and shit.
Yeah, I know. And then, but that was a cool all-night show. Joey Reynolds did that. Joey Reynolds was a famous disc jockey in his day.
I remember Boyles would do some weird, like, Channel 2 show like around 2000, kind of that John Benet Ramsey time.
Yeah. So here's who used to hang out. Alan and Peter and me and Ron Zappolo.
Is this when Peter was off the wagon? Or
no, he was kind of on and off. So, but Ron Zappolo and me would meet up with those two guys because we were all in the same building. And then we'd go out to eat and do stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, it's still not available. Those funds still are not available in my HSA.
Let's take a few days. HSA is the biggest ripoff of all time.
I'll try again tomorrow.
Do you know some of the people I worked with at Channel 4 as production assistants, copy boys, I call them. One of them runs all of Tegna Broadcasting.
I've never heard of Tegna.
It owns Channel 9.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, it used to be, what was the name of it before that?
You know what's shocking is they split up KOA TV and KOA Radio. They should have kept that grandfathered.
Yeah, they did split them up and then sold it separately, right? They sold, so...
KRDO in the Springs, our station down there, it's the only, I think there's 2 in the country left that own the, ABC or whatever it is, and then a radio station.
It used to be Gannett, Gannett, I think was where Tegna absorbed Gannett.
Oh, man, look who's on line 3.
This is a good one, though.
I know. It's going to be interesting. I think John should probably take this one on.
Who is it?
It's 2 tow truck drivers that have lost their house. They've been arrested. They're facing charges. They did not steal cars, although they got arrested for stealing cars. And they just need all over help. And I was thinking, what better help is there? I've used you personally.
Is that what you were thinking?
I was like, it's a done deal. Oh, this guy on YouTube said a guy in the UK was told he had some kind of disease and he was going to die, and he went out and blew all his money. And then he found out he wasn't going to die. We were talking about boxing. The one I wish I did see was that Tyson one where he bit the ear off, man.
Holyfield.
That would have been the fight to see, man. Tyson was, when I was coming up, I'm telling you, Tyson was the toughest son of a bitch that walked the planet in my eyes. Like, he mentally won before he got in there.
Yes.
And I don't know what happened.
I knew him when he was 14. You know that.
You did in New York?
Yep.
Yeah, I read his book.
Oh, who was the guy that took him in?
Customato.
Yeah,
Cuss was
cool,
a friend of mine.
Seconds, guys, 15.
Very
that's
cool.
Incredible.
He was a good friend of mine, and he had this 14-year-old
with our
kid.
free iHeartRadio app while streaming KHOW and the full screen player. Just click the microphone to record your message. Talk back to Denver's talk station now.
Ripped off, bad news. You need advice so you don't have to lose. We'll come running just as fast as we can. Troubleshooter's gonna help the common man.
This is the Troubleshooter Show. Now, Tom Martino.
Hi, Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Welcome to the show, the only show of its kind anywhere, and it's brought to you by harrisfamilylaw.com/webinars. If you want to learn anything about family law, they have these free webinars. They do every Wednesday night, and then they archive them on the site, so you can get them all. Free information, harrisfamilylaw.com/webinars. Okay, so we have John Fuller with us, our myaccidentlawyer.co, and he knows a lot about a lot of things we've been talking about. One thing that somebody wrote in about was IMEs. We'll get to that in a second. But I promised Richard and Ashley we'd revisit this because it just sounds preposterous to me. And John Fuller, may I ask, didn't you do criminal defense at one time?
Yes, I did.
Okay. This is cool because Richard and Ashley, they tell a story that, my God, I find it hard to believe. Here's what he said. They started a tow truck operation. They wanted to start a company. Their PUC paperwork was pending, and they went out and towed cars. And they would tow cars based on, an apartment complex would call and say, tow this car. Or an owner would call from a store maybe and say, this car's here, tow this car. And apparently, he said, one of his competitors got pissed off, reported him to the police. But whether that happened or not isn't important. But what he said was, he was basically arrested for car theft. And what I don't understand is why. Because clearly, he said each time he hooked a car, he would call dispatch to let him know, I'm taking this car in case the owner calls in, that you're supposed to do. And you're also supposed to check to see it wasn't used in a crime or wasn't reported stolen. He claims he has logs showing these phone calls. So he had 3 cars, and I believe on all 3, you got 3 counts of auto theft. Is that right, Richard?
Yes, that is right. That is where it comes into play with the whole thing of the. So, as a new tow truck company, we're actually trying to, go by the laws that Polis put into place this year. She signed a whole bill that we've tried to.
When were you arrested? I forgot to ask you that, Richard. When were you arrested?
Well, I was arrested on the 25th at like I don't know, it was like 11 o'clock.
The 25th of what? Of what?
Of April.
Didn't you get stuck in the mud or something?
Yes, we did, and we called for help. We actually called OnStar, and then OnStar couldn't find us, so they sent out the Weld County Sheriff, which the Weld County Sheriff texted us that night and said that, where they were, and they found us. I woke up, he had a gun in my face, tried to say I was drinking. I was like, no, you're on my tow yard. I got out of the car, and I said, my name is Richard Nunez.
See, you wound him up. You shouldn't have done that. Richard, this is where you and Ashley go off the reservation. Honest to God, you just give way too much information. The bottom line, John, he was arrested for car theft. Now, here's what I don't understand. Why would a man be arrested for that if he had all the paperwork and all the phone calls and the logs that he made? It doesn't seem like you could possibly show intent. Richard, without going into a 1,000,000-mile-an-hour story, I need to ask, when was your preliminary hearing?
So that will be tomorrow, the 17th.
But didn't you say you didn't have a hearing yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, so tomorrow
it's going to be dropped because I have all the proper documentation. But what I'm trying to figure out is how a tow truck company can accuse you of all these things, right? And then not only that, go into your business that you conduct, the place that you conduct business with, and tell them that you're a thief with the.
Okay, that's a good question. John, are they liable for anything? Now, can you prove it was this tow truck company that started all this in motion?
Yes, I can, because they told me that. The guy called me and said that he was working with the Greeley Police Department investigations team, that we were under investigation for stolen vehicles. So he had a PI call me. The PI said that he was an investigator for the Greeley PD, so he lied, and I told him where we were. And then from there, they came and they took our first car. They have 6 of our personal vehicles, including my tow truck. They went onto my tow yard with no police consent, and they didn't call anybody. They said they called the landlord. They cannot call the landlord because the landlord is Ashley. That's who we're renting from this guy. And they took our cars. Ashley showed up. The tow truck company was there. She got out and told them, by law, you have to drop it if the owner is there. They told her to fuck off.
All right, see you, Richard. Okay, did you get that?
We're good.
All right.
Good.
You know, these guys are dangerous. I knew it. First of all, they don't tell a story. That's the main problem.
You didn't see that coming.
No, I didn't. So here's, and for those who heard a little blurb, he said the F word. Richard, we can't have you swearing on the air. So I guess the bottom line is he wants to know, do they have liability? When people, I think they do. If they go into a place where he's contracted and say this guy's a car thief, he's not a real tow company, obviously, if they're purporting to know things as fact and not giving an opinion, like I think this guy's a jerk, I think he's a bad businessman, but they're saying he's a thief. I mean, there's a definition for a thief or a crook. That is a legal. That is defamation if they present something as fact that is not fact, right?
Ask Donald Trump about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's defamation. And if you can prove it and prove that you had these damages flow from it, then absolutely it's a compensable loss. And you can go after them. You can sue them for it. It's probably not covered by their insurance. And you can get damages against them.
So
the reason
Richard,
it's not covered is it's an intentional tort.
Yeah, so Richard, you literally could sue them civilly. It's not, the police aren't going to arrest them, but you could civilly sue them for all of the damages you suffered, but you must prove that they went to the place where you were contracted. You must get testimony and depositions. Attorneys know what to do. You're not going to know what to do. Don't you bother calling them. But if you hire an attorney, or at least inquire, this attorney would think, let's see, first and foremost, does this other tow company have money to pay? Do they have deep pockets? Can they go after them? Because they're not going to take your case on contingency unless they can collect money. And if they don't take it on contingency, you'd have to foot the bill. And you can't. It's really not worth paying yourself or paying for that lawsuit yourself for defamation.
No, there's attorneys that'll handle that case on a contingency for you. You just need to get the right guy.
Right. And so that's all we can tell you. You can sue them. But he never mentioned what tow company it was that was spreading lies about him and how he actually knows it to be true. Are we back up and running right now with our delay?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, I'm going to bring you back, Richard and Ashley, but I got to tell you something. Next time, we're not even going to pick up the phone again. So you can't say words, swear words on the radio, okay, Richard?
Yeah, no. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what they told Ashley, the other tow truck.
All right, hold on. Now, Richard,
her.
here's what I want to ask you. And again, I don't want a long story. The other company, how would you prove that they called you a thief?
Because the Greeley Police Department told me they did. The Greeley Police Department and the Weld County Sheriff both told me themselves about this. He called me himself and told me about that.
Okay.
He called me.
Okay, hold on.
Hold
on. Richard, hold on, brother. My God in heaven, would you hold on when I tell you I don't need you to wind up like a crazy man and talk for an hour. John, when someone makes a report to the police, can they say, well, I really thought he was a thief, or I was doing my civic duty? In other words, people are somewhat protected when they make reports to police, or not?
Well, no, false reports are not ever protected. I think that he could get around the hearsay exception by being a public record and stuff of the complaints that were made. So they can probably get those out-of-court statements to be admissible. But, I mean, listen, false statements are never protected. So just because you tell them to a cop doesn't give you some sort of immunity.
Okay, that's good to know, because a lot of people make false statements to police. And if they told the police that this guy was stealing cars, he can get that on the police report. And that would be... Now, Richard, did they ever go to any of your customers and say you were a thief?
Yes.
And would they will they testify for you?
Yes, they have it on video.
Wow.
Perfect.
You know what? You ought to. And by the way, is this tow company up in Greeley area? Where are you? What area do you serve?
We serve Weld County right now. We're like I said, we're only 5 months in, but that company's out of Greeley, yes.
Okay, and so that other company, you know what? You ought to try to find an attorney to bring a lawsuit against them.
Yes.
And then count all of your... Go ahead.
We actually contacted a lawyer yesterday that called me this morning that said that she was actually going to call me back after she was in court. But, like, I was arrested on these charges, you know?
I know.
And that's what's crazy.
I know. Now, what will really help you is at your hearing tomorrow, if these charges are dismissed, that will really help you.
Yes.
And you think they're going to be dismissed?
Yes, I know for a fact they're going to be dismissed because the cops it's going to be dismissed because I did not steal. I have proof of all these vehicles.
Call us back and let us know how it goes, okay?
I will. I will do that.
This should not have happened to you, man.
No, we called for help. Like literally, we got stuck. We called for help. Instead of coming and helping, they came and they turned it into aggravated assault. They would not listen to me. Ashley is the owner of the company. She was there as well, and they told her too. Like they would not listen to anybody.
Why was the shotgun in your face, though?
I have no idea because it's aggravated motor vehicle theft, and they're going off of there was a gun in one of the cars that was reported stolen. That we don't go into these cars, we just tow them. So now they're trying to hit me with a firearm there, and I never had a firearm on me or nearwhere around me.
You know, you're crazy if you go to court tomorrow without an attorney. Are you going to show up on your own?
No, I have so I got the public defender's office. She's actually a really good one because she actually went and she even looked into it. Like, you cannot go to jail as a towing company because, because you were on your tow yard. You reported these vehicles, not just one agency, but 3 agencies.
All because you got stuck.
County Sheriff. Yes. And I asked for help. I should have never asked for help is what I'm looking at now, but I've told cops about this numerous times. Like, we've run into cops every time that we do a tow. They come out and we laugh, we talk, they run our name because we're new, and like, these allegations have been going on for a year now. We've only been in business for 5 months. So you put 2 and 2 together, you're like, okay, well, how does that come into play? And then we talked to people here in town, and everybody that we spoke to has had an issue with this tow truck company. Even yesterday when I was at the Greeley PD, they told me they have numerous complaints against this company.
Well, that has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with the case at hand. Okay, I mean, really, all you have to do, if it comes to credibility, maybe, but the bottom line is stay focused, and what you're looking for is an attorney that will take the case for defamation with damages, because you've been economically damaged as a result of this, and your company is all but ruined.
They took our tow truck.
Yeah, well,
they went onto our private property and took our tow truck.
All right, well, again, let us know what that attorney says when you talk to him. I'm Tom Martino, 303-713-8255.
I've tried a lot of language learning apps lately, and Rosetta Stone is hands down my favorite. I love that it teaches you phrases you can use in real-life conversations, and they have the best speech recognition tool. It tells you how accurate your pronunciation is, so you can really nail your accent. Learn almost
10 seconds, Tom. You're coming up next.
Italian, Chinese, and Korean. Or get access to all 25 languages for life with Rosetta Stone's lifetime unlimited subscription. Check it out at rosettastone.com.
If you ever have a problem with your property, a broken pipe, a flood, fire, asbestos, black mold, anything really, that sewer backup, anything that threatens the quality of your and the health of your property, you need American Restoration 24/7. Now, of course, if you call your insurance, they're probably going to try to call a company for you. Don't let them do it. Or recommend a company. Don't let them do it. They only pay once, and they want to make it quick and dirty. They don't want to pay the right price. They don't want to pay for a thorough job. That's why you need someone who has the EPA certifications, the professional know-how, and education to get the job done right. 8337-AM-REST. I know Rock and his crew, they're the people you want. They're the people I call from my home. 8337-AM-REST. Or online, amrest247.com. Now, here's the deal. If you are looking for auto repairs, you want Sheridan Autotech.com. Sheridan Autotech does electrical repairs plus regular repairs and maintenance, and they do it all at their location just west of Wadsworth on Colfax. And here's what I love about them. They will do a thorough job, an honest job, with prices quoted up front. They do used car checkouts as well. You can trust Sheridan Autotech.com. 303-455-7242, 455-7242. Hey, you know, Harris Family Law is there for you for estate planning purposes as well as family law. If you ever need help getting a will together or facing probate, or you want to avoid probate by making a trust, you can call Harris Family Law. 303-515-5000. Harris Family Law is established on what's called unbundled services. They'll do as little or as much as you want them to do for your case. That's what I love. Whether it's family law or estate law, they'll do whatever you want them to do or the whole thing. HarrisFamilyLaw.com, 303-515-5000. Renew Home Innovations, beautiful bathrooms, and I'll tell you what, They do the shower like they're beautiful, okay? They take out those old tubs, you know, those rectangle tubs with the shower curtain that you have to step over, those tinny, boxy, metally things. They take all that out and put in a beautiful custom shower with stone walls or stone resin walls, no maintenance required. And American Standard fixtures, they put grab bars and benches and towel racks and anything you want. They custom make it just for you in 2 or 3 days, and you have 72 months to pay, no interest. RenewHomeInnovations.com. Get that bathroom done right now, before the good weather, before the summer. Okay, now it's 303-904-2000, 303-904-2000.
And said they did an AI, they created a sermon through AI.
Oh. That'd be easy to do, actually. They say paralegals.
I tried to do a toast for my daughter's wedding on them, but it was just hokey as shit.
Was it?
Yeah, I couldn't even come close to using it. So that is a stressful thing to do.
It's generic, though, right?
You mean doing a toast?
No.
Doing the toast is stressful.
They tried not to be generic, but it kind of was, you know.
It's such a personal relationship.
To do that, it was stressful.
Yeah.
I've gotten up in front of a lot of people and done shit in court and not been worried at all.
I'm sure it was awesome.
But to get up in front of your family and
that's
you know,
a whole different level.
A whole different.
How about the dance? Did you guys do all that?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Is she? Do you have one daughter?
Yeah.
Do you have any sons? So just she. Cool. Do you think you'll be getting grandkids in the future?
They say no.
Interesting.
I'm telling you, kids are going that way, man. It's wild.
I don't think she could stomach the idea of there being more attention on another human being.
There's Addie. That
well,
could
Addie
very well
mentioned
be
yesterday, she's like, or a couple days ago when we were on our way to yoga, she's like, Mom, I always thought I wanted kids, but when I think about having kids in the future, it just sounds so, And I said, well, maybe you'll change your mind when you're in your 30s. You know, you want a legacy, and I don't know.
See, she's like 27.
So
she's a little bit older
sniffing it. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, you got to think they probably will, but both of them were single, only children.
Yeah, Mark's an only child.
So
we waited.
It's
a long
different
time.
breed.
We waited 6 years to have kids?
7.
7 years.
9 if you. It was 7
and
married.
then Addie was a
7 married.
Addie was a complete fuck.
Yeah.
I came home. She's literally in the tub crying. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? I'm pregnant again. It's like, oh God, did we not literally just go through this?
Don't we know what causes that?
Stay away from me.
And then with her, we had to go to a geneticist.
Because I got pregnant on the pill.
Yeah.
So all right, 15 seconds there, everybody.
The red carpet for her.
From the Trajan Wealth K-House Studios. Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors. TrajanWealth.com. 630 K-How, an iHeartRadio station.
Hi, Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. So, I remember years ago, at Channel 4, I believe it was, I went to a doctor with an undercover camera, and I was going in with low back pain. This was before I actually had real back problems. Anyway.
You got a marijuana card.
And no, this was years and years ago. And the doctor told me what I had wrong with my spine. And I said, okay, thanks, right? And I did that because I was getting complaints about this doctor. And he prescribed all kinds of stuff and wanted me to come back.
Was he a pill doctor?
No, it wasn't about pills. I'm going to tell you what it's about. He prescribed pills if I wanted them. And also, he was looking into possible surgery and other things like injections and stuff. This was like, I'm a young man, Channel 4. Okay, so here's what happens. Then I go in, same undercover, but this time, and these idiots didn't even know what I looked like, because I didn't even change my appearance that much. I went in and said I was in an auto accident. I was sent by an insurance company. And I believe it was, we set up a scenario, and I was sent in by the insurance company. Oh, no, I know what it was. I was in a real accident. That's right. Hold on. I was sent to him first. That's what it was. And this is what pissed me off. And he said there was nothing. My back was perfect. That's what it was. Perfect. In fact, the accident could have helped me a little because it mobilized my spine. No, seriously, he was called an independent medical examiner. I call them whore masters. But anyway, the guy said that to me. So then I went back with a hidden camera as a regular patient. That's how much he didn't even look at me. By the way, when he examined me for the insurance company, he never touched me. I don't even think he looked at me. I had the open-ass gown. He told me to turn around once. I'm not sure what he was doing, but in any case.
Reach around.
Yeah. So anyway, when I went back.
Had two hands on your shoulders?
I went back with my camera, this time as a patient with back pain. And that's when he told me I had all these troubles. So think about this. I went in as the insurance company sent me in. And by the way, it wasn't my insurance company. It was, at the time, it was the other party's insurance company. I had a Jeep and they ran into me. That accident, he told me nothing was wrong with me. And honest to God, used the words, maybe it mobilized your spine a bit. You know, you're pretty flexible. It's very good. Nothing wrong with me. They refused to pay anything.
And thank God that Jeep rolled into you.
You should pay them for improvement.
Now listen, you think I'm kidding. I went back there, and that's when he told me all the serious problems. The same doctor, but one time working for insurance, and the other time I went in as a patient.
Yep.
John, are they that? Come on, can they actually pay off a doctor to be just a whore?
Tom, there are doctors in this town right now today that make $500,000-$700,000 a year from insurance companies alone doing independent, quote-unquote, medical examinations for insurance companies and or their defense attorneys. They've been making that amount of money every year for as long as I've been doing this business. Yes.
How the hell do they justify? So, but really, they're basically paid to say there's nothing wrong with the patient.
600,000 or 700,000 reasons, you know.
But don't they care about malpractice or something? If they tell me I'm
okay,
okay,
malpractice because you're not their patient. They're not treating you, and they make you sign something right out of the gate saying, "You understand that I am an independent doctor. I am not undertaking your care. I am not your doctor. I'm not treating you." Okay. And you have to sign up and say, "Oh yeah, I understand that. I'm just the sheep, you know, coming to slaughter, and you do your thing, doc." And that's exactly what happens.
You know, I learned from our experience with you, John, that you didn't want us, maybe because it was Kaiser, but Suzanne had some pretty good injuries. She was actually treated for almost a year, and you did not want us going through Kaiser. But I think that had more to do with the billing side, right? Why was that? I just don't remember.
Well, there's a couple of issues going on. You know, our injuries are only as good as our ability to prove those, you know? I mean, you can say anything you want, but you've got to have the documentation and the doctors behind that documentation to at least theoretically walk into court and be willing to testify. Kaiser is kind of institutionally opposed to participating at all, and many doctors are. It's not just Kaiser, but institutionally opposed to playing a role in plaintiffs' cases, okay? Their rationale for doing that are that, look, we don't have to render an opinion on causation to be able to give a diagnosis. So we can say her arm is broken. We can look at an x-ray and say the arm is broken. I don't need to know that it got hit by a football or she was drunk and fell over, or, you know, I don't have to worry about why it's broken. I can just render a diagnosis. So that's their rationale, that they don't want to be involved in that process and they want nothing to do with it. The defense doctors are just entirely beholden to the people that pay them, which is not good and not fair, but it is what it is. And you know, that's just the world that we live in.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Have you noticed this lately too, Tom? I bet everybody's noticed this. You go in just for, I went in for my once-a-year physical like last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, Every time you go to a doctor or even do telehealth or anything, they always want to know if there was an accident involved now.
Yeah.
Every single time. Like an accident was involved with my, routine blood work each year. It's just crazy.
And there's a million reasons why that is that they ask that question. I mean, principally among them is a lot of doctors just really don't know how the heck they're supposed to bill or who they're supposed to bill for accident-related stuff. There's still doctors that just say, we don't treat accident patients, which is absurd, but it happens. We run into it all the time. There's other doctors that just don't want anything to do with the process. They don't ever want to be called in to render an opinion about anything. They just want to treat and get paid and be left alone. And that's a tremendous disservice to their patients, but that's who they are. That's where they stand on it.
And then when you go into the hospital, they want to know every kind of insurance.
But John,
they want to know your health insurance, the other person's insurance,
but I want to
your
ask
insurance.
this. I want to ask this about trial or about prep for trial or about if doctors don't want to get involved. Can you still use medical records, or does the other side want to cross-examine them, and do medical records not get admitted, or how does that work?
Well, no, they're going to be entitled to cross-examine those doctors. Many times, there'll be depositions and stuff that take place beforehand, and if they don't end up testifying in person, we can use excerpts from the depositions. But, I mean, it's not a good thing. We don't want doctors that just don't want to participate in the process. And generally speaking, those medical records are hearsay. They're not going to be, admissible to prove what the diagnosis was. I mean, you can use them in trial with the doctor that wrote those records, but as a standalone, proof, no, they don't carry the day for us like that.
All right, we have more coming right up.
This is Denver's Talk Station with Tom Martino now. Michael Brown tomorrow morning at 6:30 KHOW Denver. Now, Impact Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's.
Some significant slowdowns all throughout the Denver metro for the 1 o'clock hour. Heading into downtown, I-25 northbound, we're seeing speeds in the 20s and 30s between Broadway and Colfax. East of there, through Aurora, I-225 northbound approaching 6th Avenue. Roadwork continues in the 2 left lanes with stopped-up traffic back from Isla. Folks will have to add about 30 minutes extra if they're heading north out of the Aurora area. Fox 31 pinpoint weather, partly cloudy skies, nice and warm out there at the moment. We are expecting some scattered thunderstorms later into today. Highs in the mid-70s. The current temperature in Denver is 76 degrees. With your Impact Traffic and weather, Mark Swan, 630 KHOW.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Save on
10 seconds, Tom. You're up next.
for $10 to brighten up your outdoor spaces. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offer valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location while supplies last.
Hey, if you're looking to sell your home, Frank Duran, therealestateman.com will do it. But first, he'll give you a complete analysis free of charge with no obligation. Now, obviously, this analysis is not just a drive-by or a look-up on Zillow. It's a visit to your home with photos and measurements taking into consideration your neighborhood, supply and demand, interest rates, and everything. It's all free. Provided by Frank Duran, therealestateman.com, 303-920-1622. Hey, and if you do get into that house and you need window coverings, whether high-tech, low-tech, in-between tech, whether it's shutters on the outside, or you want blinds, or you want shades, you want shutters, whatever you want, Made in the Shade can do it with all the major brands, and they can save you money while doing it by meeting your budget. They come in and handle it all from beginning to end. They, first of all, measure and estimate free. They have a design helper to get in and help you order the right colors and the right fabrics and the right stuff. And then, after that, they have their in-house crew to install it. 720-458-6566. 720-458-6566. Made in the Shade.
He who protests the most is the one that...
Yeah.
Can you get me Made in the Shade's contact for tomorrow?
That's Thursday.
Oh, Thursday. Sorry. Okay.
Do you want his info?
No, because Thursday... Oh, yeah, Thursday is the day I said I would be.
Yeah, you're going to let us know about George.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
Yeah, George for sure. I'm gonna
Okay. Can you let us know tonight if possible?
As
If
far
not,
as
it's
as
good.
far as who?
George tomorrow
No, let's make that for sure, George.
for in studio.
Yeah, for me.
Okay,
For me.
so we'll be here tomorrow.
No, for George here at my house.
Oh, okay,
Chicken
gotcha.
thighs. Oh my
I just sent
God,
it
her
to you.
chicken thighs good.
Yeah, they're tasty.
And
They're
I'm
probably my favorite chicken.
I'm still loving my made-in stuff,
Isn't
and
that-
I did get that one
Did
little
you?
saucepan.
Isn't that the best damn pan in the world?
I love that stuff.
She
I
does-
used
and-
mine just the other night. I'm like, that is just still my favorite damn little pan.
She is so much more efficient cleaning now.
They clean up like
easy to wipe
man,
out.
Those things clean up like a dream.
I was
you know?
shocked. I
Yeah,
was shocked
they're
at how
great.
easy
I
they
love
are to
those
clean.
pans. I've
Mhm.
ordered I ordered my first 2 or 3, and I bet I've gone back and ordered 4 or 5 others.
Have you really?
Yeah, they're awesome.
She
Really
does
like
them.
those.
Now, do you use a vacuum sealer? I do too.
I
That
don't.
changes shit.
I use a chamber sealer.
What's the difference?
So, Suze, so tomorrow I
Chamber
just
sealer
texted
pumps the air out of the
him.
chamber inside.
So what about
seals it
Thursday?
up,
Do you want to
and
come
lets
in
the air
or not?
back in, and it goes.
Okay, first off, so George is going to go to your house tomorrow.
Yes. It's just a different
And
system.
then
It's like
Thursday,
all the
Tommy,
commercial
we
shit
really
that you
don't
see.
care. But if the
You can
guest is going to
actually
be at your
seal
house,
them
we
in a
just
chamber
prefer to be
sealer.
home.
I'm going to tell. I'm going to
which is really
text
hard to do
him
in a-
right now,
in a
Brendan.
normal vacuum.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what you're saying too. Sometimes you can. I know it. but
Okay.
It's like that perfect.
So Mark can start the show
Yeah,
from the
but, like,
house
just
tomorrow.
picture
That's
that
not a
in
big
this
deal.
chamber is your bag sitting there laying over a ceiling heating element, right? And it pumps the air out to a -1 atmosphere, and then it seals it. Okay, so it's a
And
negative full
Friday I have
atmosphere in the bag
Schillinger
as well as
and
out
Kevin
the bag,
Culkin.
even though it looks like there's air in the bag.
That's
Okay,
crazy.
it is crazy.
It
but then
looks
they
like there's air in the bag.
totally, and then it seals up.
It's almost like a Ziploc if you blew it up and put a
Yes.
sandwich in it.
Yes, except that when they let the air back in, since that air in the bag is actually negative, it's a vacuum. You know, there's nothing there. When it seals up, when they let the air back in, it goes like that quick, and there's not a speck of air in it. It's a better seal, better deal. They're bigger and they're expensive and they're a pain in the ass, but they're far superior. I use them all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I use them for everything: chilies, spaghetti sauces, barbecue, brisket,
anything.
You know, you name it. I have so much shit in the freezer; it's unbelievable. I did this morning. I just did a shit ton of Jamaican jerk chicken thighs over the weekend, and I love them like chicken bowls, like on yellow rice and stuff. So I put like a cup and a half of yellow rice in a Ziploc or in my vacuum bag.
Hey,
you
you're
know,
quite the cook, mister.
chicken on top of
God
that,
bless,
black
I'm
beans on top
hungry.
of that, a big chunk of jalapenos on
Food.
top of that,
Ready to cook.
hot sauce.
Damn, John.
Seal it up. I'll cook it in my office in a pot of hot water. Just heat it up, pour it in a bowl.
Do you do
Just
all the
as fresh.
cooking in your marriage?
Not all of it, but
She
I
does
do a
some?
lot.
Okay.
She's a good cook too.
You do all the outdoor.
Yeah, most of that.
He does all the outdoor.
Yeah, all the smoking and grilling
Ugh,
and stuff I do.
I'm hungry now, Scott.
But my wife's
Right,
a really
yeah.
good cook, but she cooks different stuff, like a lot of the soups and casseroles and stuff like that. She's really good at, and so we just kind of do.
10
I
seconds,
love
guys.
cooking fish. I cook the shit out of fish.
05551 or hit dancaplaslaw.com.
Hi, Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. So, John, when you are in an accident and they're challenging your injuries, do you have to go to an independent medical examiner if it's the other party's insurance?
It kind of depends on where in the process you are. If you're in litigation and they request an IME, you can say no. A court can order you to do it, but if you still refuse to go, really bad things happen to your case. If you're not in litigation, they can't really make you go to an IME, but usually it's whatever company is paying. So it could be a health insurance that requested. It could be, you see a lot of them in work comp type, scenarios and stuff. So if you're not in litigation, they really can't compel you. If you're in, they can come pretty darn close to compelling you to attend one.
So what happens when you have a doctor saying your client's all screwed up, and the other insurance company, they hire, or their own insurer, whatever, the insurance company hires an IME that says there's nothing wrong with them. I imagine that could happen.
Oh, it happens all the time.
Well, what the hell? What do they do in a case like that?
Well, again, think about what I just said a moment ago. The concept is your case is worth, your damages are worth what some hypothetical jury would decide that they're worth. So when we go to mediations and stuff, we talk about what we think a jury's going to do with this report and that report. And if we know that doctor's kind of has whore-like tendencies, we point that out, and we point out the times that they've testified where they've been caught in lies or misrepresentations or fabrications and stuff like that. And we point out and we tell them that we anticipate that we'll be able to impeach that doctor and that the jury will disregard everything that they say. On the other hand, they'll say the same thing about our doctors. They'll say that they're a plaintiff's, that they are beholden to the plaintiff's bar and that they'll find things wrong with anybody. I mean, that's kind of the way of the world that we live in, is everybody claims that everybody else is biased by their particular financial interest, in that case.
You would think that medical people would tell the truth.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
I mean, because you're supposed to follow the science. So either you got an injury or you don't. I mean,
yeah, I totally agree with you, but they would say, look, we're doing the Lord's work, and all these crazy plaintiffs people are out there trying to game the system, but for us, they would just run roughshod over the whole system. I mean, they think they're doing the Lord's work, or maybe they don't, I don't know, but they both seem equally pretty sure of themselves, and these are matters of opinion. And so if a doctor's opinion is that your back got better because of your accident, then you run the risk of looking stupid saying that, but you can certainly get up and say that that's your opinion.
I imagine, though, there are some injuries that there's no dispute. I mean, come on.
Well, for sure. Yeah, and there are doctors that do these IMEs, and for a fact that behind the scenes they call up the insurance company and the defense counsel and say, you really don't want me to write a report here, do you? And those cases get resolved magically, quickly.
Oh, because there's no way to even lie. You can't even lie that much.
Yeah, if the doctor's like, look, man, I'm going to be way out on a limb here if you really want me to write a report, and I know that those conversations take place, and magically those cases get resolved, and we never see a report. It's magic.
So here's the bottom line. People have to protect themselves and document stuff, and we talked about that. I want to go over what everyone should have in their car and what you're doing about that, because you do have a giveaway right after this. I'm Tom Martino.
Now, Impact Traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Mark Moss Show.
Some significant slowdowns all throughout the Denver metro for the 1 o'clock hour. Heading into downtown, I-25 northbound, we're seeing speeds in the 20s and 30s between Broadway and Colfax. East of there, through Aurora, I-225 northbound approaching 6th Avenue. Roadwork continues in the 2 left lanes with stopped-up traffic back from Islet. Folks will have to add about 30 minutes extra if they're heading north out of the Aurora area. Fox 31 pinpoint weather, partly cloudy skies, nice and warm out there at the moment. We are expecting some scattered thunderstorms later into today. Highs in the mid-70s. The current temperature in Denver is 76 degrees. With your Impact Traffic and weather, Mark Swan, 630 KHOW.
The U.S. government admits out.
All right, Tom, you're up next. 10 seconds.
The default likely. I'm Mark Moss, helping you navigate the decentralized revolution. Listen to the Mark Moss Show on the iHeartRadio app, on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
If you want some extra cash, why don't you sell that old junk jewelry sitting in a drawer, tangled messes, mismatched earrings, or even old coin collections, broken watches? Or you can sell used jewelry. It doesn't have to be junk. Now, David Ellis Jewelry is a name we can trust. It's not some name you picked up on social media and you're meeting in a parking lot. This is a jeweler in Cherry Creek we've known for 40 years. DavidEllisJewelry.com, 3rd and Clayton, 303-322-8779. He'll pay you fair prices, 303-322-8779. And let's talk about our seminar the 25th of May. There is nothing you can't ask when it comes to income, annuities, insurance, life insurance, Medicare, Social Security, reverse loans, mortgages, whatever is on your mind, show up and let's talk. I'll even be there for consumer issues facing you as you age. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be old to be there. I think it can benefit anyone, 35 years or older. I think you ought to show up and first call, of course, and get a seat. And make sure you have a seat. It's at the Sheridan Tech Center on the 25th, 6:30 in the evening. The number to call for registration, 303-800-2919. That's 303-800-2919. Harris Family Law. I talked about Harris Family Law for years because I know Rich and Lisa, who started this firm, and here's what I love about the firm. They have specialists in every area of family law. They really do, including international law. They have also people who do estate planning and estate law. If you have to change your will after a divorce, if you have to change a trust, they can do that. Now, they can handle that kind of law even outside of a divorce. So whatever your needs, whether estate planning or family law or both, harrisfamilylaw.com, 303-515-5000.
Still on Amazon.
Just to show you here, Ben, look. You can either buy it with the extra one like we did, or not.
No, ours has one reservoir. If you want to bet 2 yoga classes compared to 0 yoga classes tomorrow, I'm happy to do it. Let's do it. It's a bet, babe.
It's a no-win, because if I win, I still lose. It's literally a no-win at this point. I just already know.
Danger.
You can buy it with or without the
John,
side
you're getting a text this evening.
Danger.
Scott, you're getting a text this evening.
Okay.
As soon as we get home, I'm going to have him show me this extra reservoir I've been missing for months now.
It's right in the back. It feeds off the extra side tank one.
You can't fill it up. It must be internal. It's not something you can fill up. It's going to drive him crazy. We'll probably go straight home.
No, I'm done with it. We've been here before.
Because he has the answer.
Once I know she digs in, it's like there's just no, it just doesn't matter.
Oh, I will dig in as soon as we get home. If there's an extra reservoir, I'd love that.
We argued about a pizza place one time that I knew was there. She said, no, there was never a Bojo's there. I said, God damn it, there was a Bojo's there at Colorado Boulevard in 25 for 10 years.
Right.
No, there's not. And it became a whole thing. And by the time one of my kids actually found an old...
That's not what we argued about. It was the Elephant Bar off of Arapahoe just a few months ago where the new Kodiak Brewing is. Right. That one I was wrong on. It was further up the road than I thought.
Dude, I just went through. I used to work in that big Plaza Tower 1 down in the Tech Center, you know. And
which one's that?
That big cash register looking thing with the swooped.
The building? The Gillette building.
It used to be called something different.
Plaza.
It looks like one of their shavers.
Plaza 1.
Wait,
Plaza
downtown?
But keep going. What about it?
It was an oil company building back in the day. Anyway. I went through there the other day. I literally...
Oh, yeah, that is the Gillette building.
Is it? I literally did not recognize the damn place. I mean, it is
totally redid.
It is so damn different. I was like, fuck, I don't even know how to get in the parking lot of this place, you know?
That's where, that Caplis is that top floor of that one.
Oh, is he? We used to be on the 20th floor of that one, so he's probably in one of our old units, but... nice building, but...
I'm shocked any of those places have tenants anymore, to be quite honest.
They're so stupid expensive. They were like, back in the day, which was like 20 years ago, they were like $45 a foot for rent in there. It's just absurd, you know?
So that building right now has got 44,000 square feet on the 3rd floor.
Yeah. I bet they have vacancies all throughout that building. That building's getting kind of old,
15 seconds, guys.
It's probably 25 years old.
It's time to use your outside voice.
I am just so sick and tired of these panty-waist liberals.
This is Denver's talk station.
I'm so pissed off.
630 KHOW.
Hi, Tom Martino here. 303-713-TALK. I see there's a Bob on the line. We'll take in a minute here, but yeah, let's do that right now, and then I'll get to these other questions. Bob, go ahead, sir. What's going on, Bob?
My son, I'm calling for him. He's was a paramedic, during the riots downtown and everything. Hurt his back. He was working for Denver Health on an ambulance, and compensation sent him to chiropractors for, I don't know, a year or more. He said on his butt, and they paid him a pittance, and then they turned him loose. They offered him money, a big settlement, but he didn't take it.
What do you mean they turned him loose? What do you mean they turned him loose? They fired him?
Doctors know that. Yeah, of course, Denver Health fired him. Sure.
But if they offered him, why wouldn't he take the money? I guess I don't get that.
That's his. I don't know.
Okay, so wait, he was on disability for a while or whatever. He was actually being treated, right?
Compensated.
Okay.
Treated
He was
as
on workers'
chiropractors,
comp.
yeah.
He was on workers' comp.
Right.
And then they let him go.
Doctor said he was fine, but he's not fine. Here he is.
So wait, he reached what they called maximum medical improvement, and then
I don't know that.
He wasn't ready to go back. Well, the only reason they would fire him, there's two reasons. One, he reached MMI and refused to go back, or two, he never reached MMI and they said, we need you to work or we're letting you go. Right, John?
Yep, they couldn't accommodate his limitations.
Exactly.
I believe that that's the case. Yeah, it's not that he got fired. They just let him go. They needed somebody to fill his position.
Well, it's called fired. Yeah, he was fired. So what's the question?
Okay. What can I do to get somebody to fix his back? I talked to his lawyer, and his lawyer said his case is still open.
So you mean, are you asking, can he sue someone?
No. I want to get his back fixed.
What is wrong with his back, sir? What is wrong?
Every couple, I don't know.
No, what I mean is, does he have a diagnosis? Does he have a diagnosis from a suitable? Do you have insurance, by the way?
I do.
Or does he have insurance?
No. Not since he doesn't have a job, no.
He has no health insurance, right? So then he's qualified. Listen,
if his comp is still open, he can still get treatment within the comp system. He's just got to go back, and he's represented by counsel, and so you'd be better off, addressing that entire issue with the counsel. And in a work comp case, Tom, they're going to have to declare him an MMI at some point, that being maximum medical improvement, and then he has the ability to challenge that, and that begins the whole IME process and stuff. So his attorney should be handling all of those issues, and it's really not, something that you would take to private health insurance or any of that kind of stuff. He's still within the comp system.
Well, I've asked my son to make an appointment with his attorney, and the attorney's reached out to him, but he hasn't got back to the attorney. So.
Well, I think your son
is going to have to do that.
Your son might be a little depressed right now if he's in a lot of pain and he's not functioning. How old is he?
44, I think.
May I ask, is he on pain pills right now?
Yes.
Okay, so he's going through...
Not prescribed. He takes some of mine. I had some tramadol that he takes to help. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, man, he's heading for trouble right now. You need to do some intervention. I'm not kidding. I'm not saying he's an addict. I'm saying that he's sitting home taking pain pills, feeling depressed. It's not a good recipe. By the way, I didn't have time to talk about the dash cam that John recommends, but he gives away dash cams monthly. Where do they go to the website to register for this, John?
Fuller-cams.com. Fuller-cams.com. Please go and register. It's a great system, full wiring harness and everything. Fuller-cams.com.
Follow Tom Martino.
All right, I'll see you guys.
And stay connected with all of us.